This video talks about some controversial and potentially triggering topics. Viewer discretion is advised. Looks like we still have errands to run. Shame. I was looking forward to fun videos. So because this is becoming more and more of a conversation within the SCC, let's talk about Sean Sampson and to extend Supersonic Ward 15, because I guess this is going to be a thing. Sean is obviously trying to make it a thing, at the very least. So I'll just give you the brief context leading up to the call, and then I'll just let the calls do the rest of the job for me. Sean Sampson is a now ex-SCC member who was brought to my attention as someone worth conversing with by a user known by the name the one and only Phineas. Phineas was concerned by Sean's association with a user by the name of Dar the Star, as well as having a previous association with controversial cartoon reviewer Star Giant Productions. So I got Sean and Phineas into a courthouse call and made Lio aware of what was going on. Much of the context is within the call itself, so I won't go over what Star Giant did or who Dar is. I will let the call do that for me. The following are the events that transpired. Yeah, so you can talk. Alright.
Then,
Okay.
Hi, Doodle.
Hi. I don't think you're in trouble, because you didn't know what's going on. But I am gonna try to get Lio in here so he can give you the rundown. Phineas can also give you some details, because they know much more about the situation than I do. Phineas was the one that kind of made me aware that you might still be friends with this individual, so, if you would like to get us started.
Well, wait, should we go to the trial pit or open discussion? Because then randoms can come in here.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Because again, Sean's not getting grilled here. If he
Right.
doesn't know the situation, then we can just inform him and it'll be fine.
So basically, I had noticed on another thing that you were friends with Rebecca on your account still, and you were also in Dar's server as one of the mods. And from the whole have you been told anything about the Necopon situation?
Allow me to catch my breath
No worries.
a little bit. Okay, so when it comes to the Necopon situation, I am very I really didn't know all of what was happening in the server, because around I'd say June to August of 2021, I was dealing with my own situation regarding Halo fan, which that's a whole other can of worms, but and I didn't know the extent of how Rebecca was handling that whole situation.
Gotcha. And so, because like that was the days of that they had the older server back then, right?
That was during the days of the older server. I was not checking on the server to see what was happening a lot of the time.
Okay. And when did you start engaging more with Rebecca's server, or have you only very passively used Rebecca's server?
Around around the time when Mr. Enter's video came out, I saw what was going on in Rebecca's server, and she was freaking out.
And when did you leave Rebecca's server?
I left Rebecca's server in June of 2023 because of the whole Mr. Enter Journal situation that happened, where there was this whole mix-up that Enter got me confused with another individual by the name of Sean Soar. He said Gary because of the fact that Rebecca in her abuse video showed a wrong screenshot.
Okay, yeah, no, because from my observations of the thing, she completely fumbled that, and you got implicated because your name was Sean within that. Like, I looked into that whole thing and stuff. I looked into that whole piece of the situation myself too, and from what I gathered, like I've even on my alt text Rebecca, and she said that it wasn't you. So I've not thought it was you who was that person. What was that person's like username in the server?
That person's username in the server was called they call me Mr. Sean,
Mm-hmm.
and he often changed his username.
Okay, but um, for his he changed his username a lot there too, or
He changed his username oftentimes to just Sean or I'm Sean.
okay. So what made you like initially join Rebecca's server, if you don't mind me asking?
The thing that made me that had me join her server was that during March of 2020, I was basically stuck in bed with the broken leg, and I started watching more of Rebecca's content, and suddenly in September she decided to put a link to that server on one of her more recent reviews, which was on Has Been Hotel.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay. Um, and so how did you wind up meeting Dar through the server, if you don't mind me asking?
Um, it, this was during the time when Rebecca was taking a break off of social media, and Dark basically came to me.
About what?
Well, I oftentimes posted my art in the server, and she decided to go ahead and uh, friend request me, and I decided to accept the request.
Okay. Um, and have you guys remained like friends since then?
Yeah. I although her Dar's old server was basically abandoned now, but she decided to post a new invite to her supposed new server, and then I decided to join that until she decided to rebrand.
Okay. So the concerns regarding Dar is that Dar during the Necropon situation was one of the mods on the server that was told about what was going on with Necropon and did nothing over the situation, right? So Necropon be doing continued to be like grooming and other bad deeds within like Star's server. And or I don't know necessarily the full story within that, but either way, so she so once Necropon was, but I came into contact with Dara again with the whole Athena P server because Athena's one of my friends, and I a friend and one of the people who was also involved in the situation connected the dots with me on that being Dar, and I kicked them from the server and started that whole thing that led to eventually Dar having a private call with us and then having a meltdown on Twitter that led to a public Senate call with her in it. Did you hear about that at all, or no?
Only vaguely. I don't know what was in that Senate call.
Um, trying to think. Susie, has Lio said that he's gonna come for this, or
He's not even online on the second account. I am messaging him, kind of giving him updates, though, that, like, Sean's not really in trouble. He's just not really informed, so.
right? So yeah, it would be best for you, and I know it's hard sometimes with things like this, but it's best to cut contact, I think, with Dar and Rebecca fully at this point. Because the whole thing, first of all, like I'll tell you this, I've been like kind of like following a bit of this for the back half of 2023, like since September, I've been following things and stuff, and I had thought like from all the evidence that's been published, I thought you were Sean Sower for like a second first before I looked and kind of did the research to know that you weren't. And I'm assuming you've wound up accidentally getting a lot of hate from some people who think that you're Sean Sower when you're not.
Yeah, and the differences between me and him is that he actually did
Hang on.
give out a lot of information about himself, and one of the information that he gave about himself was that he was born in 2002, while a lot of people know that I was born in 2001.
Phineas just kind of went AFK, so yeah, you might have
I'm so sorry.
have
I
was about
missed
to
that.
say,
Yeah,
you might have to repeat that.
please do. Sorry, I
Um,
roommate. Wait, can you repeat that or hello?
Sean?
What I was about to say was that there is a lot of differences between me and Sean Swore. Like the fact that he said that he was born in 2002 while I was born in 2001, and there's a lot of differences between me and his art, for instance.
Right,
And also another thing to know is that I am not attracted to children at all.
right. Like I the other thing that was weird with Rebecca's server, right, is she has a lot of well, you've been in there, you know how horny Rebecca is. She has a literal section for porn of herself.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like you didn't post anything or send or view those channels, right? Like, did you stay away from like?
Yeah.
Because from what I've seen, like,
Um,
right, the other thing is it doesn't seem like you post any messages in either the porn chats or the fetish chats in those servers. So I don't know how aware of it you are.
um, uh, I don't really look at those channels all that
Okay,
much.
cool. Yeah. Um. So no, the issue regarding Dar and like the issue within the friendships there are Dar's affiliations with Rebecca and stuff still, and how she was with it. Like we had in Senate, she had a full on breakdown in one of the calls over parts of the situation, and in general is someone where it's like I think I think there's a lot that's kind of shady about her as an individual. And I think, and personally, like if I was you, I think you should leave that server and just like cut ties with that entire friend group. Um, I, yeah. Why have you like been so close to Dara for so long, if you don't mind me asking, or like at least friends with her for so long?
Um, it it was because I saw that she did want to change as a person.
We've we've not really had much like progress on that, and I think it's best for you in this position to distance now and let her eventually get like the help she needs from someone else, right? Because it's like, are you a college student or did you graduate or did you?
Um, I currently speaking, I am 22.
Yeah, I'm 22 as well, so but like, are you? Do you? What's like you? Yeah, I. Sorry if I'm weird. I'm not the best at like wording of things within this. I'm not much of a confrontational person myself. This isn't confronting you. I'm just curious and stuff. I just the biggest thing within it is like, are you willing to like distance from Dar and stuff? Are you chill doing that?
Yeah, although something that I do have a bad experience with is basically cutting ties with individuals that would probably end up lying a bit or doing things behind my back. Like I had this experience before with Dan Stein, and that's a whole other situation in of itself.
That is a name I have not
And
heard for years.
and yeah, the thing is, I get very worried about whenever cutting contact with people. I was basically in a roller coaster when I ended up having to cut ties with Blaze the Movie Fan and kick him from my server, and I was basically exhausted for the rest of that day.
Hmm. Doodle, do you have anything to add on this?
No, admittedly, I don't know a whole ton about the situation either. That's why I prefer like you and Lio tell him about it than I, because I don't think I would be nearly as good of a messenger. So, but
Yeah,
Lio
no,
still
and
hasn't gotten back to me. He's still not online.
well, the way that I handle things and stuff is it's like I'm much more of like I like for me within these things there's a lot of like build up within things. From what I gathered, you were like close at least with both of them at a point, right? And so it kind of just
Um,
went.
for a long time, actually, when it came to Rebecca's side of things, that was basically that whole thing basically took a toll on me personally. Like, I remember having to tell Rebecca over and over again to not go through with making that abuse video, and she refused to listen.
Behind the scenes of that, so I'm assuming were you ever part of Rebecca's team?
The only thing that I actually, the only things that I actually did for her was basically making thumbnails for her Cartoon Network 64 videos and her DuckTales videos.
Unpaid
Um,
or were you paid for it?
what?
Were you unpaid or paid for it?
No, like, I basically volunteered.
Okay.
And
Um.
the last thing that I did was make the make the avatars for both the Becky and Clover for her series. That was basically months before I left. By the way, that's why Rebecca credited me in the description of one of those videos.
Mhm.
But that was months before I left.
So can I ask? Did you have the Team Star Giant role while you were on the server? Then
The team role.
the team role, yeah.
Yeah. I basically had that.
What kind of stuff got discussed in those channels? Was it strictly work or was
Um,
some of it personal?
she basically she often used those channels to discuss upon her abuse video, as well as sending comments that she did to vent about, because she often vented a lot in that server.
Gotcha, gotcha. Um, do you remember anything of the things that she vented about?
I do remember that she vented about an individual by the name of Otaku's Anime Official.
Who was and what's that individual in their relationship to her?
That individual was in her server for quite some time until he found out about Rebecca changing the description of her apology video.
Gotcha. And were they like friends or closer, or what's the whole story there?
I don't remember Otaku's anime officials relation to Rebecca. I do know that he was in the server for quite some time until late July of last year.
Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha. No, I think the best thing for you, and I know cutting off is hard, but I think you need a distance from Dar and Rebecca like fully on your account if that's possible for you. It
Okay.
should be possible, but
Yeah. Although I'm pretty sure that Rebecca is not gonna be happy because she really doesn't like getting. She doesn't get happy when people basically decide to cut her off without an explanation.
um, she's a dangerous individual. You can cut her off, and you don't have to care about what she thinks. She's been dodging. She's been dodging people trying to get answers from her for a little while now. She's been difficult for almost everything in regards to the situation, and has been overall a pretty awful person. So I she's someone where it's like I don't really care what her reaction's gonna be. You're not gonna have to deal with her reaction because you're distancing from her. So
Right. And as for Dar, that's going to I'm really in regards to that. I only know about the breakdown that she had, as you said, in the Senate.
the other thing is when everything was going on within the situation, Dar was one of the mods who could have removed Necopon, and is by extent is responsible within that, right? Because if she had this role and she didn't take any action and stood by Rebecca as she was taking these bad actions, like she's stuck by Rebecca as a friend and consistently gone back to her this entire time as Rebecca has been doing awful things. And by the way, Rebecca treats Dar horribly. Like like she's an abysmal. I don't know if you dealt with Rebecca treating you badly, but from what I observed, Rebecca treats Dar horribly as a person, and Dar still goes back to her time and time again. Where Dar would be venting in the server, and Rebecca would be like, "Okay, that's a strike for venting in my server, right?" And then just like not treating her well as a friend, and and the only way Dar will ever get better, and I think it's possible for people to get better, but there's no way she's gonna be able to get better if she still is friends with and has Rebecca in her life.
In regards to what I ended up in regards to what I was had to deal with Rebecca's server. It wasn't horrible. Like I only volunteered to do art like I wasn't being paid, but I do remember that Rebecca had a tendency to constantly change her mind about how the artwork looks like. I remember constantly having to change the avatar for her DuckTales to DuckTales series in regards to the avatar and where it's positioned, and some of those drawings did take a long time to make.
Right. Well, another thing that I think is worth taking a look at within this is when you think about it, right? Have you heard about how poorly Rebecca pays her video editors?
I basically heard about that where she often paid in random numbers and underpaid them more than the thumbnail artists.
But right, so within this, though, she's posted her rates on the channel, and this is a less bad thing than like her moral failings as a human being, right? But like, I still think like paying people like garbage, right, is part of this whole character and stuff, because it's like, because what Rebecca ultimately runs is a cult. In full honesty, she runs a cult where you're lucky that you're out of her server now, but to me, from everything that I've observed, she brings people who are too nice and too naive in, and treats them like garbage, and treats them like that's their one friendship, that like she's a true friend to them, when actually she winds up taking full advantage of her editors, um treating her friends poorly, getting them up in situations, putting them in positions of power that they have no capacity for, amongst a bunch of things. And in general, I don't I it there's these things that strike against her. And but even worse, how she has now, we figured out that she has had multiple predators in her server. Not like, there's the Sean Sower thing that was a thing, but there's the Necropomp thing. There was another one that we found who earlier or later last year, named Taylor Stroud or Connor Stroud or something, who was in her server, mucking around there with her in that friend group. So it's best to distance from everyone around there and stuff and just escape. Because believe me, when more things come through about this, it's, yeah. And like, I think for you, I'm genuinely sorry that you've dealt with your end of getting falsely accused for what's going on within the situation, right? Like,
Right.
the fact that several people now, Mr. Enter included, have like gotten the wrong Sean in this situation, it is rough, right? I don't know, have you dealt with a lot of harassment from that or no?
I haven't dealt with anything regarding that. Like, there was one person on Twitter that basically came to me about that, and I had a panic attack and after that particular incident.
My diligence is I'm willing to go out of my way and contact Mr. Enter and tell him that, hey, he's got the wrong name there, and get that changed so you're not implicated within that. Because I'm in contact with him too. But like, I just think what you need to do, please, is just distance from everyone within the circle. Like, it's for your best interest within these things, because them being complicit and having these behaviors is only going to get worse and stuff, because the pattern's repeated a few times now where there's been toxic people in their server, and I would not be surprised to see it happen again in either Dar or Rebecca's servers. Nothing's happened in Rebecca's server really yet with it, but Dar's server is also not. There's more than just 18 plus in that server for starters, which makes it really worrying with how she herself has failed minors in the past, right?
Mhm.
So there's a likelihood that we have another minor enter the server, and if there's another groomer or something going bad, because her server also flat out has people state their ages and roles. So, do you have any questions or anything regarding this?
Um, uh, uh, n- um, uh, uh, um, I do have a question. Is there any chance that I could give you Sean Soar's tag or something, because
Who's?
I saw him appear in another server that I'm in, which is Media Memento server, and I blocked him on the spot.
Okay, so he's in Media Memento server, you said?
Well, actually, he left after getting called out by another person in that server named Kitten Around.
We have his tag set up from his role in Star server. I got the tag, and everything is taken care of within that regard for him.
Well,
Um,
he deleted his previous account, but
okay.
he recently opened up a new one.
Then I would love his new account. That would be great of you to send.
Okay. Do you want a screenshot of his tag or just the user
Do you
ID?
have
Because
user ID, please? That's the easiest way to get those things in regard, because I can check if he's still hanging around in any servers.
Gladly. I basically use the user ID to ban him from my server.
Mhm.
And stuff.
Is Dar in your own
Can
personal
I?
server too, or?
Actually, no. I don't feel comfortable with inviting anyone from Rebecca's group into my server.
Good, yeah.
Okay. I'll find it. I'll go ahead and find it wherever you're at. Phineas. I'll go ahead and check the members and send that to you in DMs.
Thank you. Thank you again, by the way. This isn't. I'm assuming getting kind of summoned to the courtroom had to be a little scary, right?
I'm right.
Yeah. I'm I'm sorry. I'm sorry for any panic that you had going into this. I just needed to get to the bottom of some of these answers, and yeah.
Yeah.
Pepper, you
I
unmuted?
Yeah. Um,
Wait,
this
sorry.
is
Oh,
about like
wait.
from what I'm getting at.
Hold on, Pepper.
Okay.
Susie, what were you gonna say?
no, I'll let Pepper finish.
Okay. From what I'm getting at, this is Star Giant like being around Sean, right?
Yeah.
Well, Sean
Okay.
was found out to be in both Star Giants and one of Star Giant's the Stars servers, yes.
Okay. So I just want to say, Sean, this is a pattern I've been seeing with you. Why do you hang out with shitty people? Because, uh, I like a couple months ago we had to talk about this, where you were hanging around like my groomer, Dan Stein.
Dan, with Dan, I was very paranoid and cutting him off because Dan is very well known to talk about people behind their backs.
Yeah,
Okay, but he
in
also.
fairness, I was about to say, in fairness to Sean, when it came to the Star Giant stuff, he did seem pretty quick to cut her off. And then with
Mm.
Dar, he just didn't know.
I, to be honest, I still think that going in June was late for the Star Giant stuff. But I think relative, like you, how long had you known about what was going on with, the thing is, Sean, you left her server once the thing implicating your name came out, right?
The whole Sean Soar thing.
Yeah.
I left the second.
Like personally, I think Star should have been left the minute that Echelon stuff was way more unearthed and stuff. Sean, do you follow Lio's stuff at all or no?
Um, I I do. I am subscribed to him.
How long have you been subscribed to him for? Did you know about the whole? Do you know the whole Rosa Ray Ramsey stuff?
The whole Rosa Ray Ramsey thing. Yes, I know about that.
And were you knowing about it as it was happening?
Um, I was during that time. I was still I still didn't know the extent of how long about Rebecca thing and how and if she knew that Neko was a groomer or not.
I I think within that, I think you should have wound up leaving Replica's server earlier than you did. Um that's the way that I'm gonna phrase that. But I think
But in regards to Rebecca's circle, I had I was basically I was losing all faith in Rebecca around December 2022 before that whole thing went down, and I was basically very very anxious and nervous about Rebecca doing this releasing that addressing my abuse video, because we've all tried to tell her to not go through with making that video.
So from what I've gathered from that, everyone on the team was like anti. So was everyone on Rebecca's team anti? Wait, okay. So was the majority, or was Rebecca's entire team against her putting up the addressing my abuse video, or did anyone actually support that?
I do know that there were quite a few people that were telling her not to go through with it. Even Dashi was against her doing that mainly because of the enter stuff.
Because the other thing, several members of that server made testimonies for Rebecca's video. Like, let's be very clear. There's a segment in that video where Rebecca makes Dar recount her sexual abuse growing up as a child in the video to get brownie points on enter. Were you aware of this?
I do know about that testimony.
Can I ask, was it coerced? Like, or like, what do you know regarding that? Did she just like ask Dar? Did Dar express to you beforehand, being anxious about doing that video, or?
What I do know was that Rebecca putting in testimonies was a last minute decision.
Gotcha. Okay. Hang on. All right. Lio has arrived now too.
Lio,
Okay, so-
I was about to say, first and foremost, I don't know if you saw the DMs on the other account, but
No, I was
Sean-
watching a film. Sorry.
okay. Sean here didn't really know much, so it seemed when we got in here. So it's more of like an inform the guy kind of call rather than an he's in trouble kind of call. But we are now at the point where Phineas is kind of asking a bit more questions, and we found that maybe Sean did know of some things, possibly. We're still figuring that part out
Yep.
to get you caught up.
Okay. What things does he possibly know?
Let Phineas take that.
The whole thing is he had been in Rebecca's server since the old server, right? And up till leaving in June. Sean was the person who was originally like implicated within things where people thought that he was the person posting. They thought that Sean was Sean Sower, who was also in the server and posting NSFW of minors. That's not the case with him, but he was in Rebecca's server up until June of 2023. And is still in Dar's server and is one of Dar's mods to today.
Yeah, but he didn't know anything about the Dar stuff, so.
No, but if he was in Rebecca's server, that means he knew about the Rebecca stuff because she talked about it.
Yeah,
Sean, can you unmute?
he's up.
He's
I'm unmuted.
All right. So you want to explain to me why you found it acceptable to be in Rebecca's server, knowing full well what she's allowed and what she's done?
I don't like assuming intent within people.
There's a difference between assuming intent and then flatly telling you, I did this. Flatly admitted that she allowed Necopon to stay around the server, knowing full well that Necopon was a child predator. So what's there to assume?
I'm more referring to the whole Mr. Enter thing and how she was wanting to.
I don't care about Mr. Enter. I so don't care about Mr. Enter. Whatever back and forth Rebecca has and whatever hollow space. She calls her meathead. I don't care. That's not what this call is about, and you know that. So let's not talk about Mr. Inter in this call, because that's not what it's about, is it? This is about Rebecca knowing Necopon was a predator, keeping them around, admitting to it, and you knowing this, staying in her server. There's no way you don't. Because you're also pretty close with Darla Star, aren't you?
Yeah, but I don't know what's going on currently with Dar.
Okay, did you know that? I don't believe for a second, knowing Dar has very few close friends, knowing that Dar will absolutely come to them when she's distressed. I cannot for a second think that you didn't know that she got pulled into a Senate call. And another way I can obviously tell that happened is because you're obviously scared of me. Because you know what I do, and you know what I talk to people like this that is a problem. So you know what she did. You know what she permitted, didn't you?
Regarding the Senate call, I
Regarding
didn't know what was
Necopod.
all of what was going on.
Okay, you didn't know all of what was going on. Did you know that Dar allowed Necopon in a server, regardless of knowing the fact that they're a child predator? Yes or no? I don't need an essay answer. I just need a yes or no.
I didn't know that Dar was a mod in that server.
That's not what I asked you. I didn't ask if you knew if Dar was a mod. I would appreciate it, because you're an adult, right?
Yeah.
I would appreciate it if you would show me the respect, as a fellow adult, to answer the question I asked you, and not a question I didn't ask you. So I'm going to ask you again. Were you aware that Dar knew about a child predator on a server and did nothing? Yes or no? Not an essay question.
No.
Okay, I appreciate you answering. However, we still have to go back to the Star Giant thing, Rebecca Starlight. You did know about that. Because Rebecca made it a big point. Rebecca talked about it in the server. In fact, Rebecca not only talked about it in the server, but also demanded silence from other people about it in the server, and you knew that. I don't believe for a second you didn't. You did know it, didn't you?
I didn't know that if she was telling the truth or not about
That's not what I
knowing
asked you.
that.
That's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you. I didn't ask you if she was telling the truth. I asked if you knew she did it. And considering she admitted she did it, yes, you knew. I'm not going to get. I'm not going to get on. Go ahead.
Um, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this right now. I for a while I thought that Rebecca was didn't know that Necopon was a groomer before she put out that video, and when she told her side, I was still unknowing about the extent of it.
You knew enough. You knew enough. Here's the thing. I'm not going to get on to you for being Dar's friend. The reason why I'm not going to get on to you for being Dar's friend is because despite the stuff Dar has done, Dar is clearly somebody who struggles. And I'm going to say this as kindly as I can. Dar struggles with things intellectually. Dar struggles with mental health issues severely. Dar just actually needs help. I'm not going to get on to you for being Dar's friend. What I will take you to task for, though, is number one, trying to feed me some lines here that you should know by now that I'm not dumb enough to fall for. And I will get on to you for continuing to be in Rebecca's server, even fully knowing what she did. That's a problem. And frankly, you're part of the SCC, right?
Yeah.
There has been a pretty ugly problem within the past year of the SCC of people not addressing stuff like this and keeping it close and hidden. Now, obviously, I'm not referring to people like Susie, because Susie tells me when these things go down. But you're about the 4th or 5th person. Actually, no, you're about the 6th or 7th person we've caught who knew stuff and still didn't disconnect from the wrong people. You instead continue to stay in contact with them, only leaving Star server God knows why later on. It certainly wasn't because you found out what she did, was it? What was the real reason you left Star's channel, or Starlight's server? What was the reason?
I left the server because of the journal incident with Mr. Enter.
Journal incident? Okay. I don't know what that is. I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to ask because I don't care. I don't care about Mr. Enter. I just don't. Susie, I saw you unmute. Do you have something you need to say?
No, I'm just adjusting myself because, and probably shivering because,
It is cold. It's freaking cold. Here's the thing. Now, here's a problem I've had with cartoon people and with commentary people when it comes to these topics. Every single one of you that gets involved in this, obviously I'm not referring to Susie's crew or whatnot. I want to make sure of that before I get hit with a steel chair. You all have priority issues. You all get angrier over bad cartoon takes or who beefs with who over said takes than you do when people are preyed upon. Than you do when children are suffering or when somebody gets sexually harassed. I don't know where this lack of proper moral priority comes from, but it needs to be addressed and killed at its roots. The fact that it wasn't Star Giant admitting that she knew about Necopon and did nothing, that made you leave, it was some beef with Mr. freaking Enter, that speaks volumes of your lack of character. Gary, how old are you?
I'm 22.
You're old enough to know better. You are unquestionably old enough to know better. This is unacceptable behavior. It is egregious that you raise whatever this stupid notebook thing is over a child being preyed upon. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Not a child, children, because it was multiple, plural. That you found every possible reason to excuse Rebecca's actions, but not whatever's going on with Mr. Enter. And if you want to know how bad it's getting to the point of all this moral degradation, we have Phineas in this call. Now, Phineas, I don't know extremely well, but one thing I do know about Phineas is he's a very chipper individual, a very positive individual. He's gotten to the point where it's pissing Phineas off. And that's actually pretty difficult to do. It's easy to get me angry. Like, honestly, I'm a very hot-blooded individual. I'm trying to cut down on that, which is why you're not being yelled at right now, and why I'm not destroying you verbally right now, because I do believe to a point that most people are deserving of some sort of dignity, and I'm not trying to deny that. I'm not trying to treat you like you are a child predator. I'm trying to treat you like a person who has made bad moral decisions that needs corrective action. But this is ridiculous. Were you raised properly? Did your parents teach you morals?
I was raised by my mom.
Okay. Did she teach you right and wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any religious leanings?
I don't go to church.
I didn't ask you if you go to church. I asked if you had any religious leanings. Because, see, if I want to know if you go to church, I'd ask you if you go to church. However, I know that this group is diverse enough to where we have some Jewish people in here, we have some Muslims, we have some atheists, some agnostics. So I'm obviously not just going to ask if you go to church. That'd be insensitive. That's why I asked if you have any religious things going on. Do you have any religious preferences? Anything you abide by is what I asked you.
No.
Okay. Well, because your basis for morality doesn't come from your theology, because you don't have any, it likely comes from empathy, which is fantastic. That every atheistic individual I know, which is somebody who doesn't have a theology, is not somebody who's anti-theology, that's an anti-theist, for those of you who don't know, they tend to operate via empathy. What is good for people? What treats them with dignity and respect? Very good values to have. Obviously, you think that Mr. Enter should be treated with some form of dignity and respect, and to a point, that the children have a higher done to them than some YouTuber being wronged in some way about a journal. That's a problem. Now, I know these situations aren't easy to deal with. If there's anybody in this call, except for obviously Peaches, who's here, who knows how emotionally and soul draining these topics are, it's me. Trust me, I get it. It's not fun to think about, not fun to deal with. However, it's important to make distinctions. It's important to draw that line, and you failed to. What Susie chooses to do in the Nexus is her decision. I will respect whatever decision Susie made, because I care for Susie. And believe it or not, I care for this goofy little community of, well, misfit toys, for lack of a better word. However, I think you need to take a hiatus, and I think you need to focus on real life, and you need to figure out where your morals went wrong here. And you need to make sure that when you make friends and hang around people, that you be aware of the character of the individuals you hang around. This is something I've had a flaw with, too. You're not alone. I'm working on it myself. I've been around some awful people, too. And they've affected my behavior. The way I acted a year ago, 2 years ago, isn't how I act now. You've got time. Work on it, especially considering you're young. I'm not going to rip your head off. But if I see you going back to these people, if I see you continuing this behavior, then we will have another discussion, and I will be a lot more aggressive and a lot angrier. And it won't be a do better, it will be a get out forever. Do you understand me?
Yeah. I'm going to cut ties with Dar and Rebecca.
Hold on. Dar struggles. Do you care about Dar? Yes or no? Be honest with me. Don't tell me what you think I want to hear. Tell me what you actually feel. Do you care about Dar?
Yeah.
Then be her friend. And guide her away from being around bad people. Rebecca, on the other hand, does not have the struggles Dar does. I just told you, Dar struggles mentally, intellectually. Dar needs friends. Friends that are moral and decent, upstanding people. People who care about her. People who will let her know, hey, let's not do that, let's do this. Now, if you can do that for Dar, then be Dar's friend. Rebecca is a different matter. Rebecca's a snake. Rebecca is morally repugnant. When I dragged Rebecca into a call to hold her accountable for the nonsense she pulled, she tried to bail. Having one of Nekopon's victims in that call to ask her basic questions, the minute she got caught out in a lie, Rebecca bailed. That's the person you need to cut off. You understand me?
Yeah.
All right. Susie, you have anything you want to say?
No, not really.
I do have something I want to quickly say. I came in late, but I have general context clues. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but the issue at hand here is that Sean remained in contact with Star Giant despite knowing what she did. Is that it?
That is a problem. I'm not going to deny that. That's why I said if Susie chooses to remove him, I will not judge Susie, and if Susie chooses to keep him, I also will not judge Susie, but I'm also going to make it very clear on the record, I don't think he should be in Nexus because of that. I think he needs to work on himself.
Yeah, because I was going to
from terrible
say,
people.
sorry, I was going to say, Sean, because I run it and you're in it, I'm going to have to remove you from Pog because this is behavior I cannot accept.
No, I mentioned. I want to say this because I mentioned this in the call before. Everybody can hear me, right? Like just fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Sean had contact with this person I knew called Dan Stein, and Dan, when I was like 12 and they were like 16, kept on peer pressuring me to like send pictures of myself, send pictures of private parts.
Yeah, I know.
And
I know who Dan
also,
Stein is, and I know what he's done.
yeah, and also just how when I was like 14 to 15, he was an adult, like 18 to 19. He sent me a link to a little site with porn on it, and I asked him, hey, you shouldn't really be showing me these kinds of things, and he's just like, I don't care, like I don't care about that. And obviously, about his weird shit with girls, right? Um, I also want to say, Sean, weren't you like a part of that whole thing or whatever?
Part of the part of what?
The whole drama with him, talking to women, talking to little girls in like very weird sexual manner.
I often there was a pattern with Dan that I did cut him off, and then I'd end up getting pulled back into contact with him thanks to another person who wants to be left anonymous.
Okay. Uh, th- well, I'm asking, you were in that situation. You saw that situation like go down where people were like exposing him for like talking to little girls like that, right? Yes or no?
Um, uh, right. And I did call him out on that.
And you stuck with him even after that whole thing, because that whole thing happened in like 2020 to 2021, and the last time I saw you talk to him was 2023, a couple months ago even.
Wait, I want to make sure I get this clear.
Mhm.
Gary, did you know Dan Stein was a child predator? Yes or no? Yes or
I
no?
was,
Yes or no?
I was,
Yes or no? I don't need an essay. I don't need an essay answer. I just want a yes or no.
um, uh, uh,
You just said you
I
called
was
him out.
unsure
You
of
just
that.
said you no. Don't you start. I'm not in the mood. I could be watching a movie with a dear friend of mine, but instead I'm talking to you. Respect the fact that I'm taking my time to do so. I was just told in this call, everybody heard it, that you called Dan out for these actions. Is that true? Yes or no?
Yeah.
So you called Dan out for these actions, these literal actions of preying on children, and you're still friends with him?
I
Yes or
blocked
no?
him
When did you block him?
after Pepper told me about what he did to him.
I asked you when. It means a time frame.
I blocked him in October.
Of last
Pepper,
year. Of last year,
Pepper,
October
when
last year, yeah.
hold on. Pepper,
That's fine. Yeah.
when did this person put out videos on Dan and his actions?
Let me see. I'm pretty sure, like, let me get it. Hold on. Fuck. The last one that I know of is June 8th of 2021.
So you were in contact with a child predator for 2 years and only cut them off because Pepper came to you. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Peaches, I saw you unmuted. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, uh, what's the reason for now 2 instances of you being around either predator or predator enabler? And they better be really good reasons.
With Dan, I was extremely nervous to block him completely because he'd go behind my back and start lying about me.
Like what? What lies were you worried about?
He basically tried to lie about me telling him to go after someone when I didn't.
What person? In what way?
Disregards 12-ounce apologist. Basically, Dan basically went behind my back and tried to lie about him going after him for saying that he doesn't like my art when when I never told him to go after him.
So, okay. That firstly sounds like an absolute nothing situation. But cuz I was asking cuz if this guy was like threatening you with an even worse lie than whatever that was, like you could literally just go, "Hey, this guy's threatening me with this thing. He's a freak and a pedophile. Ignore him and block him."
Yep.
That's because we've dealt with predators who literally threaten people all the time. You don't work with them just because it's convenient.
No.
And I asked for the reasons why you did it because every single time I have ever found somebody who hangs around these people willingly, every time, to no avail, there is always something in their own closet.
And here is the one chance I will give you, Gary, to be honest. Have you done something with somebody that you know is illegal and wrong? In the same vein as Dan.
No, I didn't at all.
We'll find out. We always do.
I think the bigger question is like, I don't know much about you, so like, do you have? I know that you're friends with Daw. Are you like? Do you live with anyone?
I only live with my mom, and no, I haven't done any illegal things.
Yeah, I was more asking to know if like you were self-sufficient or if you more needed your mom to still care for you.
Be honest with us.
Uh, um, uh, uh, um, uh, I I need to catch my breath for a little bit. Uh, uh, she does take care of my money and stuff. I'm able to do a lot of things on my own. Of other things, yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you a more direct question. If you had to fill out legal paperwork, would you be able to do it by yourself or would you need your mother there?
Uh, n- I'd probably do it on my own because of the fact that usually they'd only have me sign my name.
I'm asking you, if you were to say, I don't know, you were to try to enlist in the military, would you be allowed to? Or would the government require your mother's consent for you to do so?
Um, they'd probably allow me to.
Okay. What you're communicating to me, and I want to be clear on this, I'm asking you roundabout questions for a reason. What you are trying to communicate to us is that your mother is not your caregiver. Your mother is not in charge of you as a person. Your mother is not your legal representation. Is that accurate?
I just live with her. Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's where things are unpleasant for you, Gary. If your mother was your steward, if you were to the point where legally you need a caregiver, there could be some rationale behind poor decisions you make. I'm not saying that to devalue anybody with mental struggles or people who are in need of care. They are people that I have a lot of compassion for, a lot of love for, and I would never devalue them. However, in this case, you are not. That means every decision you make is your decision. You think about it, you process it, and it is yours. You are the arbiter of your moral failures in this. You chose to stay around Dan. And you see, well, the point Peaches was trying to get at that you didn't comprehend, a lot of people in your position don't seem to want to. And I say want to because I think you knew what she was getting at. There are times that I have dealt with people who are not collectively there in their minds, and God bless them, those poor people who need help. And they wind up being around terrible people because they don't know how to get out of those situations. Or they can't think three-dimensionally in the sense that the predator might threaten them and they genuinely don't know what to do because their mental faculties are stunted and they're essentially like children. And I have a lot of care and love for those people because they can't help that. So I will defend them. You, I will not. You made your decision. You stayed around a child predator for 2 years and only let go of them when they lied about you. No. You know, initially I said you should stay Dar's friend. Dar deserves better friends than you. I'm starting to understand why Dar winds up in god-awful situations that people like you are the best you can do. As far as friends goes, god-awful. So, I'm not going to speak for Susie, but I have a pretty good idea what she's going to do with you after this call. Every single person that's on my friends list that's mutual with you needs to remove you, and you need to be removed from this community completely, permanently, and not to be allowed back in. You have made your decisions. You chose this. Don't cry now. You made this decision on your own. You made it the minute you stayed around these people and the minute you allowed them to continue.
Yeah, now it's
Don't cry.
Now it's pretty much solidified that like you're being kicked from Hug. I'm not letting you back in under any circumstances. I'm sick of people like you.
Mhm.
And that group has plenty of minors. I don't want another fucking person in that group skedaddling about, associating with those people.
And I'm going to say this, and this will be my closing statement, and Susie or Peaches, whoever wants to pipe up, can say something. Gary, who all knew that you were cavorting with predators and didn't say anything? But real quick, Pepper, how old are you?
I'm 16. I'm 16.
Okay. What I'm going to say to you is going to be corrective, but I will not be cruel.
Okay.
Next time, tell a rational adult. How long did you know that this person was around Dan?
Probably the same time. 2 years.
Okay. Next time, please tell an adult. If you were an adult, I would have ripped your throat out. But you're a kid, and I understand that can be tough. But please, and if any other kids are in this call, please tell an adult. Please. Because otherwise, these freaks, these creeps will continue to fester, and it makes it unsafe. And I don't want that for any of you. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
I get it. Yeah.
Gary, you are to be removed from everybody's spaces. People are not to communicate with you. People are not to be your friend. You have made horrific moral decisions, and people are to mark and avoid you for them. If you want to change, you want to grow as a person, you have every right, but it will not be in these spaces and will not be with these people. And if I see you trying to weasel your way back in here, I will deal with you. Peaches, do you have anything you want to say to this guy?
No.
You will speak. Yes, Gary.
There is something that I do want to do before this happens.
And what would that be?
I have a planned document that I'm planning on doing on a former friend of mine named Halo Fan.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about what you plan on commentary. Nobody here's going to help you with it. You need to just leave. I don't care. I don't care. I do not care. How are you sitting through this call in the depths of your ignorance, hearing all these horrible things that people have found out about you, and your first concern is passing a commentary you're working on to somebody? Really? That's your concern? What is wrong with you? Goodness, what is wrong with you? No, I don't care. Susie, you have anything you want to say to this clown?
No. No, I guess other than I'm just incredibly disappointed that we went through this song and dance with Tippy, and here we are doing that same song and dance again.
Okay. Susie, what is your final verdict for him in your spaces?
Oh, I mean, he's more than likely getting chucked out, and more than likely by that I mean certainly getting removed.
Okay, thank you. Real quick, and I don't want to be here all night. We need to wrap this up. Boone, you said you wanted to say something real quick.
Yeah, I noticed earlier where you said that you were trying to get away from dance time, but you kept getting pulled back in by some other person, yet you were still willing to have that person remain anonymous despite knowing how serious the situation really is, and this person knowingly bringing you back in with a child predator. That's telling.
Who was the person? Gary, and I don't want to hear they want to remain anonymous. That's being revoked. Who was it?
Okay. The person is named Sharkman.
I see. That name sound familiar to anybody?
Yeah.
Not to me.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I guess
Yep.
to
Me.
Pepper.
Okay. We'll
He also knew.
We'll reconnoiter about all the who news later. It's getting late. Ephraim. Oh my goodness. Okay, guys, we're not going to spend the whole night unmuting everybody to tell this guy off. All right.
I just have a question. It is kind of important.
All right.
Sean, were you related to that incident several months ago where Dan Stein came into my server and then posted?
No, I wasn't. I didn't tell Dan about about you.
Okay.
How'd you know what Ephraim was talking about?
Because I was in Ephraim's server.
I see. Okay.
And he's since been
Go ahead,
banned, for the record.
Obviously. Slumber, you said you have something to say, and then we'll wrap this up. It's getting long in the tooth.
Sorry, I'll be quick. Hey, son, I want to ask you why you thought it was cool to pick a man who also told people to send a 13-year-old me porn as a child, no less. What did you think? Well,
What's going on?
I just I think it's no, because this was a dude who also accused me of being a pedophile, if I remember correctly. So I'm just gonna say I don't really get it. You're dumb. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep this quick.
Okay. I think that's more or less it, right?
Yep, I think that's it.
All right.
John, Gary, whatever you want to call yourself, you're dismissed. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go back to watching a fun film with a person I care about.
I'm sorry.
Can I stay here and talk for a minute? Would anybody listen? Because for those who don't know, that guy was my main artist.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
you're now.
let's see. My best friend turned out to be a piece of shit. My main artist. Anyone else here want to be a piece of shit? Susie, I like you. You want to do something terrible?
I don't want to, no.
Hey, Boone, I like the first part of your video on me. You want to do something horrible just to
No thanks. No thanks.
okay. Thank you. Also, it
What
was
is
actually
it with you and your artists?
Yeah,
this is
no,
the
my
second one.
I genuinely am starting to think there's a plot going on to get me to do things I cannot detail in this call.
Now, that was all done and dusted. But what of Sonicward? Well, he came to me the next morning wondering what happened with Sean, and after explaining, he gave me the beginning of a defense of him, telling me that Sean had apparently cut off Dan Stein some time ago, obviously not knowing the full extent of the situation to begin with. The issue was not that Sean was still currently friends with Dan Stein, it was that Sean had stayed friends with Dan after knowing that Dan had previously shown predatory behavior for years. Combine that with the Necopon stuff that Sean probably should have known about being within Star Giant circles, and this just kind of became an issue of Sean not really taking the initiative to separate himself from toxic individuals, and being, maybe not in support of, but at the very least, content in the actions of predatory people. So I wanted to bring Ward into a call to clear that up and maybe talk with him about what he knew. The following call happened there.
Right.
He's here.
Hey,
Hey,
Ward.
Ward.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Hey, Ward. So, I guess
Go ahead.
just for some clarification, exactly how long did you know Sean was friends with Dan?
All right, to be honest, right? To be honest, I did probably knew about this for about probably around the exact same time, like 2 years or so. But before you say anything about it, I don't even know about this whole thing with Dan to begin with. Regardless, I didn't know nothing about that because I've been away. I've been like kind of busy doing my own thing, really. So I've been trying my best to try to keep up with it, but I don't know. Okay, I don't know what's going on. I didn't know what was going on with Dan himself because I've been trying to remove him from my head, my mind, and everything. So I don't know what was the assumptions with Dan to begin with, right?
Okay, so let's go ahead and break that down. Why would you want to remove Dan from your head? What's the initial reason why you'd want to do that?
Originally, I only did that because, well, for one, he was a small little kid, and I didn't want to mess with him. I didn't want to really mess with him, regardless, because he was kind of annoying anyway. So the initial reaction that I pretty much kind of seen from him anyways, and from videos that I've seen from a long time ago, I decided to go ahead and just kind of just leave Dan alone forever.
How long
pretty
ago
much.
was it? How long ago was it that you made that decision? What year?
Let me see. That's got to be like around 2018 or so.
Okay. So here's the inconsistency with what you're saying to us versus what you said in DMs. What you said in DMs was that you were aware that this person was talking to Dan Stein for that period of time. Why would that stick in your head if you didn't know what Dan Stein did?
From what? Okay, look. What I'm trying to say. Look, this is what I'm trying to say. I'm just now learning more about this, though, as Sean pretty much brought this up to me. I literally just learned about this.
Not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you.
All right, hold on. Let me finish first. I get what you're saying, though. Let me finish first. Okay. So, look, I was trying to leave this whole thing alone, which I did. Sean was coming to me about interactions and stuff, but I said this in DMs anyways. To Sean, I said it to Sean. I said why you was still pretty much hanging out with the guy and stuff. But at first, I didn't know that it had anything to do with something serious. I didn't know that. Like I said, I was just telling Sean that like you probably have to like leave this guy alone, like if he's probably still bothering you or something though, right? So Sean pretty much was like, yeah, sure, okay. But the thing about it is that like this was like back in like 2019. I'm trying to get my mind together. Give me a sec, please. Around like 2019 or something and everything. And I was trying to tell him like, are you still trying to like communicate or something with Dan of all people, right? He was just, and then he was explaining to me about like what was going on, and he was kind of getting into like some drama and stuff, right? And apparently like Sean was kind of in a corner, you know what I mean? So I was trying to at least tell him like, yo, you got to just leave this guy alone and stuff. Shit, I did the same thing, right? I left him alone for a good amount of time and everything. Sean just kept on like bringing him up every single time, just letting me know like what he's been doing. That's all I was just basically. I was just kind of getting just informed, really, and I didn't
Okay.
even want to really know about the guy. That's all I was just saying.
Are you done?
Pretty much
Okay, cool.
for a bit.
Then,
Go
then
ahead.
allow me to interject.
Go
What
ahead.
was he pushing Sean against the wall for?
We're talking Dan.
No, we're talking about the
Oh,
Tooth Fairy. Who do you think we're talking about? Come on.
all right, got you, man. All right, so but no, I guess it just has something to do with the fact that like Dan would like put like Sean into like different type of like situations or so, right?
Can
But
you
he
be
was pretty
specific?
much okay. That's what I was gonna do right now. To be more specific, and I don't have all the super details about this. The only thing that I know is that like Dan will pretty much go to like other friends or some of his, right? Of his friends. Like Dan will go to pretty much talking about okay, give me a sec. Dan would pretty much go to other people and cause drama with them, but then also bring Sean up, right? And then Sean would pretty much get some heat though, because of the fact that like that Dan was pretty much was like lying to Sean, or at least lying about Sean. So then
Mm.
Sean will have to try to figure out like how to get out of this type of situation or something. And I don't know. And like I told you before, though, I don't have all the details in the world, though. So that person you have to talk to is pretty much Sean about that, because I only know
Well,
little to nothing about that together. I don't know.
we've already talked with Sean.
Yeah, I know, but all I'm just saying is that that's why I kind of mentioned this in the message before, where I said like I felt like the whole like thing or something from like what y'all was doing, I felt like I don't know what was happening with this. You know, if I knew that this call was even a thing to begin with, I probably would have just also jumped in, talked about it with the whole thing and stuff, because I didn't understand what was even going on and what was like the half of it and stuff. I only knew just from what Sean just told me. So I didn't know what was going on.
So you're telling me that if you were to open your DMs right now with Sean and you look up the word predator or child, you wouldn't find a single result.
Why are you talking about that? Like I said though, I didn't know
Oh, hold
about
on.
the
Stop.
whole.
Stop.
All right, go ahead.
How old are you?
All right. I'm pretty much 27 at this point.
Okay. That tells me you're 26 then, right? If you're pretty much 27, that means you're not 27.
Wait, Ward, I thought you were older than I was.
No, I am older than you. Oh yeah, yeah, I mean my birthday's coming up though, but no, I'm 27. At this point until my birthday pretty much comes up.
Okay.
And it's pretty much on February and it's February.
I don't need to know that much detail. I'm going to ask you
Okay.
to stick with what I ask you instead of going on tangents here, because that's what you've been doing this whole time. So let me get back to basics here. Do you know why I asked you your age?
Okay, why?
I asked if you know. Do you know? Do you have a
Yes.
guess? Okay.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah.
Why did I ask you?
I actually don't know.
Then why'd you just tell me yes?
No. Okay, that's okay.
Look, I don't know if you're doing something else right now, but if you are, pause it and put it aside.
No,
This is not
he
a.
didn't. He didn't actually say that. To be fair,
I
you
asked.
asked if he said you asked if he knew why. He said
Yeah.
no. Go ahead.
I don't know why he followed up with yes, but anyways, the reason why I'm asking you your age is because I'm noticing a pattern here, and this is a pattern younger people, usually younger than you, try to do when they're in unpleasant situations. They immediately deny, they double back on that denial, and they fill in things with information that is not required, not needed, and especially, and here's the key, not asked for. There's a reason why every time I've asked you a direct question, you've gone on at length in a different direction, not actually related to answering my question. That's also why when I asked you if you were to open your DMs and search for the word predator or child, if it would be found there, and you didn't answer that. You instead continued saying how, well, you didn't know about any of this. Here's why I don't believe that. You knew enough to know that these two were beefing over a lie, which was verified by Sean. That's why Sean disconnected from him after knowing about Dan's actions. You are saying that you disconnected from Dan and you didn't keep up with it. But clearly you did, because Sean keeps coming to you about it. I'm not done. Sean keeps coming to you about it. And then in the DMs you had today, not last week, not a week ago, today, you admit that you knew that he was hanging around him for a specific amount of time that was related directly to the predation. Because that's when he was found out about. It was a gap between finding out and now. That Sean stayed with him. So you knew about that gap.
Yeah, and like I said, I ain't trying to lie about that either. Yeah, I
Then
do
why
know-
won't you answer questions directly then?
answer it directly or something? I mean, I can do that.
All right. If you were to open your DMs right now with Sean and type in the words child or predation or predator or whatever, will there be results found?
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And if you want to find out, you share your screen, Susie clicks on it, and you do the search function in your communications with Sean.
Okay. All right.
Are you sharing your screen yet? Because I can't look at my phone.
All right. Give me a sec,
He's
please.
not yet.
I see. See, the interesting thing about this test is this is something Sean would have to say. So, what that means, you wouldn't be able to delete it. Sean would have had to have foreknowledge of this and deleted it on his own. And I don't think he's smart enough for that. Are you searching for it right now?
Yeah, because you said something about.
I said share your screen.
All right. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Ward. Screen share, please.
No, I know. Give me a moment though. Just you're gonna have to give me a moment.
Interesting.
Yeah, because look, there's a lot of stuff. Like I said, I'm trying to follow directions and stuff. She's just gonna have to give me some time. Give me some time.
You need time to click share screen.
No, yeah, look. Yeah.
You're not very good at buying time. Not very convincing, if nothing else.
All right, I got you though. I'm just.
Do you?
Yeah.
Because you haven't so far. Share your screen.
All right. I mean, kind of rushing. Just
Rushing. Rushing.
Yeah.
Interesting. How am I rushing? By giving you a very simple thing to do.
Yeah, I know, but
Do you?
give me a sec. Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
gonna
think
share
you
right
do.
now.
Go
I'll share
ahead.
right now. Look.
Do it.
All right.
David wants
I'm
to chime
sharing
in on something. Oh, wait. I think I might know what's going on.
What's going on?
I'm trying to share it.
Do you have... Is that even something you can do?
See why I
Yeah,
wouldn't.
like I'm trying to.
Voice channel... Oh, no, it doesn't... doesn't look like I can turn off screen share, so...
Interesting.
I was thinking maybe for a second I might have, like, disabled that, but it doesn't look like I even can do that.
Nope. Yeah,
All right.
finally.
Yeah,
Oh,
there we go.
yep.
There we go.
All right, Susie, work your magic and instruct this individual on how to do a search function, please.
So
Alright,
first
go ahead
go
and
to
help me.
your DMs with Sean. And your direct
Alright, give me a sec.
messages. Gary fan. You have to filter it. There it is.
Right
Alright,
here.
now go up in the search bar there on the top right hand corner. There is a search bar.
Right here.
Yep. And now search
Alright.
the word child first. We'll try that first.
Alright.
CHILD.
Yeah, give me a sec. Alright.
There you go. Hit enter.
Gotcha. Let me move this
Okay.
real quick.
Now
Alright.
we gotta give it a sec to load. Because
Alright.
it needs to index the DMs. I'm wondering how it never did this before. I mean, you guys obviously DM a lot. I'm kinda surprised it hasn't done this yet. Usually it does it automatically. This is definitely taking a bit.
Mm.
This might be a problem.
Right. Stop the search and then restart it.
Guess I'll just do that real quick.
Yeah, 'cause I'm not... Because, yeah, it shouldn't take that long to index.
No, it shouldn't.
And looking into it, it does seem like it's a bug that that happens with this.
Like a bug, this happens to you too?
No, I'm looking it up, and I'm seeing some other people have had problems with this in the past.
Hmm. Yeah, because usually this does actually work.
All right. Then back out of it and look up Predator instead.
Alright, gotcha. Yeah.
ATOR.
Yeah, just give me a sec. I was just trying to calm my mom real quick.
Why? Why do you need to calm your mind?
No, thing you said call mother.
Oh.
Okay, well, there was no results for Predator.
All right. Try CP.
All right. It says no. Unfortunately, no results were found.
Yeah.
For CP?
Yeah, for no results for
Yeah,
CP, no
yeah, for
results.
CP. Yeah.
No
Predator?
results for CP, no
Results.
results for Predator.
Now try
Child, for some
child.
reason, is. Yeah, Child was taking forever to index, but we can try it again.
All right. You want me to try child again?
Yep.
All right, gotcha. It's
No
okay.
results found.
All right.
So, I guess it just truly never came up in their conversation.
That's a possibility. But it's also obvious that they've had calls because they had one yesterday.
Well, no,
is true.
that was no yesterday. No, like I said, like I mentioned in the call before, like when I mentioned in this call just now, is that like yesterday I pretty much did talk to Sean and everything, but then that was when
Actually.
like
I see his server there on the side.
Hmm.
yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, before we explore the server, I want you to search one more word.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Dan.
I mean, that's gonna show up regardless.
I'm aware.
Let me-
I want to see it. Or rather, have Susie.
Okay, so there's a description that Sean was writing for a video, I guess, with a special thanks to Dan Alec Chai. Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Continue.
Scrolling.
All right, I'm gonna continue scrolling.
Another special thanks to Dan Alec. Yeah. Actually, hold on. When did Dan get in trouble for the stuff he did, Lio?
Oh, you can look on my channel, but it had to be sometime in February because that's when Dan decided to try to throw my real name out there as though it would intimidate me because he was busy defending zoo files.
2023?
Yep, that would be correct.
Okay, so this would be before then. Okay. Had a slight panic because these were from August of 2022. So wait, keep scrolling.
I gotcha.
Well, there's
right here.
Dan. Just in a
With
call
Dan.
with Dan, but that doesn't tell me if that's Dan Alec Chai or if that's Dan Stein. There's another instance of him being in a call with Dan and a Tricky. There's a Dan's interview with Michael. That's probably Alec. There's Dan Stein directly.
Yeah.
Jump to that DM if you can. Click that jump button.
Gotcha. Gotta press it.
Okay. There's a screenshot there. Mind pulling that up?
Oh, right here. Let me go ahead
Yeah.
and check. This is from 2021.
Yeah, open in browser. So I
forgot
decided to leave.
to this.
Yeah, so I decided to leave Dan's group just now. When I got into 2 calls with Dan, he was absolutely ignoring me, only talking to Sly, not even saying hi back. So naturally I got bored and left the call, and then I instantly got bored the second time. I understand that Dan is occupied by talking to other people, but man, he was rude in that call, since he was not acknowledging my existence, especially when I said hi. Tricky says, okay, fuck him, just blocked him. Sean says, I have him blocked at the moment because I don't trust him enough to undo me blocking him and friend requesting him. He's not out of second chances, he's done for it. Dan is rude and bitter. That's interesting. interesting words to keep around a person like that.
He
him
is
bringing
done
his brother.
for.
Even I don't understand that, but go ahead.
You had to have understood that if he was sending you a screen cap, knowing full well you'd know the context.
Bring his brother into the room.
Like I said,
Okay, seriously, him bringing his brother into the room being shirtless to make you cringe all because you were stating your opinion is petty, and him not acknowledging my existence when I said hi to him in a call is rude. Do you have context to that, Lord?
no, but I'm pretty sure it did happen, I guess. Like I said, but I don't know. Like, he just sent me the screenshots and stuff.
Especially
and
when
everything,
Tricky
though,
goes.
and I was like,
Especially when Tricky goes on to say his brother made me ill, almost puked in the call when his brother was shoving both his nips and the inside of his navel. I'm not kidding, it was fucking bad.
yeah, that's what I'm trying
Do
to
you know
like
this?
read up on.
Do you know this Tricky person? You know Tricky?
Tricky
at all?
person?
Yeah.
Well,
Who's Tricky?
I mean, I haven't really Tricky. I guess you can say that like he was from like the old CC, I guess, from like 2015, I think. But yeah, I know the Tricky kinda and stuff like, but I haven't really been talking to him since.
Convenient.
Do you know how old Tricky is?
I really don't know the answer to that.
Fascinating.
Wow. Keep scrolling.
Oh,
Actually, no. Actually, stop scrolling just real quick. I do got like one more question. Do you know how old Dan's brother is?
no, I don't.
Okay.
What?
I did. Alright, keep scrolling then. Go ahead, keep scrolling then.
Alright.
If Dan wasn't so stubborn, he would have easily gotten arrested for showing soft child pornography in class. Aha!
Interesting.
Immediate next message!
So Susie, what was that date on that again? Can you tell me?
That was from
April 10th, 2021 was when
okay.
was Sean's screenshot, and this was given to Ward. If you type back into Discord real quick for me, Ward.
I will.
Interesting.
This was sent April 24th, 2021.
I see. So you did have an inclination, like I thought you did.
Well,
Why'd you lie
yeah,
to me?
like
Hold on.
I did not lie. I did
I'm
not
gonna
lie
ask-
to you. I just
stop. Yes, you did.
okay.
Yes, you
what,
did.
Okay, what did I?
You did lie
did
to
I
me
say?
because here is him literally telling you, softcore, child porn, which is weird that didn't show up in the child search, but this wasn't enough. Go
Well,
ahead.
like this is from 20.
Well,
everything. Go ahead.
That's it wouldn't come up in the child search because it is a screenshot. Those
It's
are
a
messages in a
screenshot.
screenshot.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for the clarification, but either way, you did know. Bare
Like I
minimum,
said,
you knew. Bare minimum, you knew Dan was up to something suspicious, and you sat in this call. You lied to me. You lied to
didn't really
Susie.
lie.
And how did you not lie? How did you not lie when you said
let
that
me
you did
explain.
not know?
Let me
And here it
explain.
is in black and white.
Look, let me explain before you say more. Okay.
Take
From
a
what I
shot at it.
also explained earlier, when I told you I tried to like erase a lot of stuff, and that's exactly what I did. So I'm talking about as if my mind. So I literally forgot most of these
Oh.
conversations. Like I said, I forgot most of this conversation. I forgot that even Sean even sent this to even begin with. Like I said, all right, I'm literally busy with anything else that I'm doing in my
Don't
life.
even. Let's stop that right now. I'm going to put a real hard,
All right, go
fast
ahead.
stop to that.
All right, go
Do
ahead.
not speak. Hold on. Do you have? And I'm not saying this as some weird pitch to ego, but do you have any clue who you're talking to right now?
Yes, I know, man.
Okay, who am I? Who am I? Then who am I?
You're the Leo. You're pretty much Leo. Okay.
Leo? Who's Leo?
Leo Convoy. I know.
I'm
I know the
Leo
whole name.
Convoy. I am 38 years old. I work a very steady, regular job, and I have a family I care for. Do not speak to me about busyness. You are 27. You are not so busy that you can magically erase knowledge of that level from your mind. There are people whose backstories and personal interactions I have forgotten about, but there is certainly not a situation like this that when my mind is reminded of it happening, that I magically forget long term. You knew that this person was in contact with Dan. You can say you could erase that from your mind. I'd love to know what anime you got that from, just so we're on the level, because I know you're one of those people. So, but the whole softcore child porn just magically erases from your mind. So irrelevant, so unimportant that you discard it because I wanted to erase Dan from my memory. I don't buy it.
I did. Okay, look, I did tell Sean beforehand to stop pretty much talking to Dan altogether, and I did mention that. Just that for whatever reason, Sean pretty much wanted to still stick by him for whatever weird reason, and that's why I was trying to look. That's what I'm trying to explain. Hold on.
No, I hear you,
And I was,
but that's not
and
relevant to what we're talking about here. If the argument was you told Sean to stay away from Dan, you know, you and I would be in accord. There wouldn't be a problem. Here's the problem. You knew Dan had done something sus. If Sean wants to stay around Dan, Sean can hang himself on that tree. You, on the other hand, keeping quiet about it, knowing bare minimum that Dan is sharing softcore child porn, you did not have the temerity or the audacity to tell anybody else. That's what I'm getting at here. That is the problem. Then why are you trying to pivot the conversation to be about something else? Is it because you know and you really don't want to face it, or are you just trying your best to try to power through this as quickly as possible because it's unpleasant for you?
Not really. I can still talk about it. It's just that, like I told you before, there's much things I wanted to really talk about regardless, though. That's why I'm trying to be here to listen to everything that you have to say, okay?
Okay. Well, for somebody who's here to listen to what people are saying, you're doing an awful lot of explaining, an awful lot of excusing, an awful lot of trying to chase two rabbits, which, by the way, you'll catch neither. So no, we're not doing that. Now, I know there are people in this call who are very worried I'm going to raise my voice to you. I'm not going to. I'm not going to give you that satisfaction. You've already shown several levels of disrespect to begin with. Number one, you kept Susie waiting. Just a minute is not 20. Just putting that in there. So I'm not done. I am not done.
Go ahead.
You're 27 years old. You should know how conversations operate. Do not interrupt. I'm getting really tired of you other adults embarrassing yourselves by acting like children. I'm getting very tired of it. You also, I do not believe for a second, didn't know about what happened in the Cloud Palace last year with people hiding that there was a Predator sympathizer in that community. I do not for a second believe you don't know about that because you people, as Peaches said earlier, when you weren't in here, the SCC is a much tighter knit community than any other commentary community. So I know for a fact that you knew that happened. And here you are trying to make excuses for why you didn't tell anybody. They will not be accepted here. They will not be justified here. And we're not going to sit here and waste more of my time when I'm at work. Just so we're FYI about busyness. I'm at work. Or everybody else's collective time, because that's the one thing you cannot buy, sell, or trade at this point. You can never get more of. You're not going to waste people's time here giving more excuses or trying to go around the doggone barn. When you are asked a question, you will give a concise and direct answer. If I ask you what the time is, I don't need to hear about how time was invented. I don't need to hear about the different timekeeping methods that we've been putting in play since the dawn of humanity. Just tell me the time. You lied. You did know. At least bare minimum, you knew something. Don't you turn that thing off. You turn it back on because we're about to go into John's little server.
He hasn't turned
it
off.
Turn it off.
Okay, I heard somebody shut it off. I apologize. That was somebody else I must have heard. You're going to be our Dante here. You're going to be our Dante into this little inferno. So the whole, I didn't know, that's already gone. Chuck that sucker out the window. Here's what you're going to do in this call. If Susie asks you a question, you are going to answer her directly. You will not gish-gallop. You will not make excuses. Secondly, you are going to give Susie a look into that server and whatever she wants from it. That by the way, implies conversations that you can look up about Dan and the child stuff too, because I'm sure it was talked about in there.
Well,
you're going to bring up.
I was about to say that's going to be the main thing that I'm going to ask for. Yeah.
And there's the other thing that you're going to need too, Susie. Member list.
And I got you right now. I got you
Yeah.
right now. Like,
Good.
I
So
got
I'm
you
going to
right
mute
now.
so I can handle some work, and I'm going to hand this over to Susie because this is, in fact, her rodeo. I'm just the rodeo clown you fell for.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
know. But I got you, though. Yeah.
Yeah, hop into
Go ahead.
that server. Let's
All right.
let's see what messages are in there.
All right, I got you.
So
So
once again, go into the search.
this is the announcement. I'll go to the
First and
search.
foremost, good.
Pretty much on the announcement thing. I got you. I'll just say Dan, right?
Yeah, we're gonna go back to Dan would be like probably the easiest one to find. Yeah.
All right, let me go ahead and do that right now. All right, just press enter.
Yep.
I got you. Let me move it to the
All
side.
right.
All right,
That's
go ahead and read.
yesterday's. We can skip yesterday's. That's
Okay.
is
Actually,
that
let me
also
do this.
yesterday's?
I
Yeah.
think
Oh
so.
yeah,
Hold
go
on.
to
Let
old.
me-
Actually, yeah, no, go to old. That's a much better idea. All right.
Okay, here's
So,
this is from, okay, look at the year and look at all of this.
band users. We got Halo fan. Jesta Sylveon, Dan Alec Chai, Keep. Okay, well I guess that must have been edited. Oh no, this is 8/27/23. Are there only 5 results for Dan in this server? Really? He has not once.
He hasn't
Mention?
once gotten to he hasn't
Keep
once
going, keep
also
scrolling.
been in, all right.
Keep scrolling.
And those were the mentions in the announcement. Thanks.
Reasons for why each of them are banned. That actually might be what we're looking for. So I see Dan Alec Chai. No, keep scrolling. Keep scrolling down. Keep scrolling down.
I thought you wanted to
No.
still see that. Okay.
There's a thread for reasons why each of them are banned. Okay. 10/27. So October 17th, 2023. Rocky Rockington, aka Dan Stein. Reason, similar to Halo Zone 504. He's someone who would constantly claim to have changed or learned from his actions, only to go back to doing those same actions again, only because he claims certain people as his friend again. Not to mention, if you disagree or argue with him so much as one time, he will turn against you and use whatever he defended you for against you if you step out of line, indicating that he does not want actual friends that would help him or give him advice. All he wants is a yes-man hug box group that would agree with him no matter what. I have my own complicated history with the guy, not as bad as Halo Fan, because Halo Fan is a grown man who should seriously know better, while Dan is only 2 years younger than I am. But that's still not saying much. 2 entries from earlier on this ban list, DZ and Zoth, I had to put up with because of the people that Dan got into contact with. I also had a reputation of spamming people to get into calls with them, as well as rushing art and videos out of people, without realizing how much time it goes into it, including with my close friend who I will refer to as Anon Blue, given that he wants to be left anonymous. He also has a history of lying to people that are in his echo chamber to turn his friends against those he has a grudge with, including someone named Willard, claiming that Willard said it was my fault for what happened with me and Halo Fan to begin with, which he never said at all, which offends me as a victim of him, because Willard was one of the people that helped me during the time when Halo Fan was doing the worst things imaginable to me. So Dan is trying to lie about Willard victim blaming me. It's absolutely terrible on his part. Not to mention, according to Pepper, well, I'll let this screenshot speak for itself, with a spoiler. Okay.
Okay, give me a sec.
And
there you
Pepper
go. Can you see it?
says, yep, Pepper says, I understand that he was a minor, but this is what he did to me. Back when I was 12, when I first met Dan, he kept on peer pressuring me to show my not cool parts. He kept on doing this for about a week until I did, in fact, he introduced me on how to mask. Ooh. Same year, he said I was cute and told me to moan in a VC again. I was 12, he was 15 to 16, and legally in America, you can be classified as a pedo if you're over 16 doing this to someone who's 5 years younger than you. But he's technically a kid, so back then, as recent as last year when I turned 15, he sent me a link to a porno site. He was 18, 19. I told him this ain't a good idea, and Dan told me he didn't care. As of recent this year, Blue told me that Dan's Twitter account is filled with lolicon. I don't remember that exactly, but I do remember you. If you did that, I'm really sorry to hear that. I've been concerned about him as of late. The reason is because Willard linked me Dan's Twitter account. Turns out some of his retweets were lolly, so therefore I banned him off of my server. Okay. But this was back in October of last year. So I'm so I'm pretty sure that post dates. Do you remember when Sean said he cut Dan off? Anyone in call who was there yesterday?
It was October of 2023.
October.
Okay, so about that time. Interesting. Okay, so someone I am being asked to try Rocky.
Okay. Oh, Rocky, yeah, because that was his like other name or something.
Yep. Try Rocky.
Give me a sec.
Quick
Oh,
gold
this is
again.
yesterday, and also.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's only 3 results, but yeah, okay.
But
it's the same.
but
About
I
the
ain't
same
gonna
result.
but I ain't gonna lie though. I ain't gonna lie though, but we're pretty much in the announcement thing.
Well, are we only searching announcements? I don't think so, because
That
that
yes.
was
Yes,
no,
we
because we
yes we are.
because when we no, because that's in the
Oh,
blacklisted, aka banned users chat.
so
So the
then never
results that
mind
we're
then.
getting,
This was pretty
yeah.
much okay. I see it now. Sorry. Okay, the results. So yeah, he was only pretty much mentioned here pretty much about like
He was only ever mentioned starting last year, and any mention of him thus far has been him being blacklisted and the why. So okay. Try Rocky and Ward's DMs. Well, we've already covered that Ward already knew.
yeah, like yeah.
We were looking in Sean's Discord chat specifically to see if there might be anyone else we'd have to turn to. But it looks like that might not be necessary. At least I don't think so. I guess try looking up child. We'll try the other things.
Child or something. I'll look it up.
Yeah, we'll try child.
We'll just try them. Yeah.
Okay.
That's just.
Yeah, these are just
Yeah.
other people's videos.
Right.
No, that's
No.
no. Keep scrolling.
No.
Nope, that's it.
Okay. No. That's it.
I have a couple questions here.
Sure.
Susie, do you know when Pepper was preyed upon? What years that was?
No, I don't. Pepper's not in here to verify that.
It was, if memory serves me correct, it was between 2021. It was between either 2020 to 2022, something like that.
Okay. So here's my query. How long has Pepper been part of this group, the SCC?
Since 20. When did the Ilo Milo video come out? Cause that would help me figure that out.
No, hang on, I got this.
Yeah, if I could find my Ilo Milo video, I could give you like an exact year. But I'm pretty
2018.
2018? Okay. So.
The DMs, where it was told to this clown that Dan had softcore child porn. What year was that?
2021, I think is what we said.
When did Pepper confide that Dan had done this?
I don't know. The first I heard about it was yesterday. So,
Okay.
anyone else in the call?
According to Sean's message in the server, October 2023 seems to be.
Okay. Here's where I'm going to get a little mean. You knew about Dan's actions. Sean knew about Dan's actions. Stayed around them. Gave them access to vulnerable people by staying around them. Kind of put your head on a platter. I'm very tired of adults your age pulling these stunts. Very tired of it. Because what you have done in not alerting people who Sean was around is you have given them bare access to vulnerable people without any way to defend them. And then you come in here and you have the audacity to try to lie about your actions. I do not understand how people like you are this cowardly. Because you know what? I can take a lot on my own. I can take a lot of punishment. I can take a lot of, let's be honest, abuse. What I will not do is put that on other people, especially not on children. You kept quiet about it. You didn't raise the alarm. You didn't tell people who Sean was still hanging around. You knew what they did. You knew it. You told no one. Every person that's in that server, I want cataloged. And I highly recommend. I want
Just to
I
let
highly
you know.
recommend you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say this. Like, as of me being within Sean's server, anyways, they never once got into this server to begin with. Okay.
Okay, but
Do
that's
you
not
think
the
that?
point. That's
Do you
not
think
the
that's
point.
what I meant? I don't want to raise my voice at you, but I swear, if you keep trying to pretend that you're thick-headed, I will.
Yeah, that's
I
not
mean,
the
I
point.
thought that's what you were saying. Okay, yeah,
Not
go
the
ahead.
point. So first, I want you to close out the search.
All right.
Just close it out.
There we go.
Okay. Go into the general.
All right.
Okay. And I'm going. Nope. Put the screen share back on the other side.
Oh.
We're gonna look at the. We're gonna look at the contacts here.
Alright.
So I see Jeffy, 2010. I have no idea who that is. Daniel Dell, no idea. Kyokun is there. I don't know who Running Man or Sonic Shadow Plus is. I don't know who Baja Blast Man. Shadow Ruff is in there. Interesting. Logan. I don't know who that is. I don't know who Entity is. I don't know who 67 is. I can't read that first name on the offline. Anon?
You talking about this one on the?
Yeah, it's just Anon. Okay, I don't know who that is. Brenda, Toon Guy, Dragons Be Buggin'. I don't know who that is.
Okay.
Don't know Freedom Phantom. Don't know Jamire Williams. Don't know Justin. Don't know Powerhouse. Don't know Lady Sega Genesis. I see Lonely Fanboy. That's a name I haven't seen in a bit. Don't know Lost Media Guy. Pink Robot's in there.
She should know better. Get her out of there.
I can try to talk to her about it. Message her about it. Don't know who Poof is. Don't know who Purple Loogie is. Keep going. Don't know who that is. Don't know Real Abolition. Don't know Sam B. Don't know Sammy Kid. Don't know Spook Radio. Don't know Star Wars and JP fan. Don't know T and Bell. Don't know TDW4. Don't know Tennis Ball Productions. The Laird, I don't know. Don't know The Real Dog Collar. Don't know Trey 99. Don't know Zebu. Don't know May. So there's a few names in here that I'm recognizing. But, yeah,
Question to our little compatriot here. Can you at everyone in that server, or is that something you have permission to do?
What are you saying? Hack?
no, just
Did I
at.
say hack?
Tag.
Did I say
Sorry.
hack?
Sorry,
Can
tag.
you at?
Gotcha.
Yes, can you at everyone in the server? Is that something you're able to do in that server?
Yes, pretty much.
I want you to at everyone and tell them that Sean enabled a child predator.
All right.
No, actually, no. Okay. For some reason the tag
No.
wasn't coming up, but it seems like, yeah, you can.
Yeah, I
Type
can.
in Sean enabled a child predator.
All right,
Let's
that's
see
what I'm
who
doing right now.
let's see who responds.
Well, there's a bunch of
Alright.
people offline on that, in that server right now, so might
I'm
take a
sure.
Okay, give me a sec. I can't really like see the. Oh, there it is. Okay, because I couldn't really see it on my end. I gotta pay attention to the other screen right here. All right.
No, that
Alright, give
did
me a
not.
Yeah, I know. It didn't.
Running legend. And at everyone.
Oh, look, that shit too. Give me a sec. Let's try that again. I'm sorry. Let me
Okay.
I got it. Okay.
Enabled.
All right.
ENAB.
Sorry. Oh. What you say that again, please?
EN.
Yeah.
AB. LE. D.
Yeah. See that like I can't really like. Yeah, you're gonna have to let me know because I can't really. I could barely see because like like when you open up the tab or something like when you open this up, you can't really like see the thing right here or something like it's kind of like in the way of my text. Like I'm trying to type it out or something.
Just type space a space child space predator.
Okay, I got you.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
ATOR. There you go.
I
hit
couldn't
enter.
really see. I got you.
Well, at least we now have solid evidence you weren't active in that server, so that's a good thing on your end, I suppose.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, but yeah.
But the thing about that is, does not in any way, shape, or form excuse what you've allowed.
Yeah, and you're right.
And here's the thing that
problem-
really chaffs me. Stop. Here's what really chaffs me. I see some of the other servers you're in there, so you've been a brony for a while, haven't you, son?
Yeah, his main OC is a My Little Pony character.
Already.
That's fine. So you know what I do, don't you? You probably saw me
Yeah.
running around with FNGR a few years ago, busting predators. You knew that, didn't you?
Oh yeah. I remember.
Then why are you being stupid enough to try to play games with me in this call?
And you're right. It just that, like I said, my memories did slip for a bit. It
I
just
don't.
that.
No. My memory slips because I'm old. Susie's memory may slip because she's got so much in her skull, remembering all this other stuff. There's a lot of things you can excuse through memory slips. There's a lot. Somebody having child pornography, CSEM, is not one of them. If you can sit there and tell me about the episodes of My Little Goddamn Pony, you can remember something this egregious. Do not sit there and think that you're going to get one over on me by constantly telling me the same lie. I do not believe you. So stop wasting both our time with it. There are times I forget things in cases I've handled because I deal with so much of it. They overlap sometimes, or I'm overloaded with information. You are not. Knock it off. 27 years old, you act like this. You ought to be ashamed. And your parents ought to be ashamed for raising you to be this weak and stupid. The inactions of people like you are why people like the individual talked about earlier, Pepper, get preyed upon. And you knew that. You saw what I was doing in 2018. You dishonest snake. And furthermore, you know who else knew that of what I do? Who doesn't pull this crap? David Grimm, who's in this call right now. You have no excuse. None. Don't play this game with me. 10 years your senior. I don't have time for it. But here's what you're going to do. You're going to be honest for once. Once. You're going to tell everybody here who else knew. Who else knew that Sean was a sneaky little weirdo who had no problem hanging around with a child predator?
Okay. Now that part, I really don't know. You talking about in the CC, in this?
Yes.
Thing?
Yes, in the CC. Who all that everyone here would know knew this was happening. Knew this person was still talking to Dan. Knew this person was still buddies with Dan until Dan decided to lie about them, which somehow magically means now they can't be friends. You know, they can excuse child pornography. They can excuse CSEM, but lying, that's where they draw the line.
Okay. But no, I don't know who else pretty much was buddies and stuff. Who knows about this?
And yeah, Night Tie I know it obviously isn't you, because here's the thing. If you knew something, you would come to me first and foremost. Because you have a functioning brain. You don't have a functioning mic, but you got a functioning brain.
Yeah, so I DM'd Pink about it, about everything. She apparently had the chat muted. She's left. But yeah, like Shadow Ruff and... I mean, obviously Kyo.
You know, it's fascinating, Susie, how this community built around talking constantly and never shutting up somehow can't communicate things. Isn't that fascinating?
Got a 40-page document on it. Still working on that video. But yeah.
Imagine this nonsense makes pages even longer, too.
No kidding. So, yeah, did anyone else know, or do you know anyone else who even might have known about all this?
No, pretty much no, because like I mentioned before, when Sean pretty much came up to me and stuff and was talking to me about some of this, that like I pretty much was saying, I was like, I don't know why you didn't just cut him off in the first place. And then I knew that had to be the mistake that he was making, and around like 2021 and everything. So once I pretty much was like, if he was just gonna keep on just doing what he was doing, like what Sean was, for whatever reason, I don't know why, he was just trying to continue trying to follow the guy or trying to help him out, but the thing is that he just kept on just doing this and that, and I'm just trying to let him know, like,
All right.
Can't basically like. Sorry.
All right, but that's not what I asked.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I had asked if if you know anyone else who even might have known of this stuff that we can ask.
Who knew about?
Who knew about Sean still being friends with Dan? Whether or not they were trying to get him away from Dan or what have you, that's not important. The important part is, do you know of anyone who would have even known of this information to begin with?
Hold on, I want to interject real quick. Are you listening there?
I'm listening.
I find it fascinating. This is a pattern I picked up with you and other people. I find it fascinating how you can comprehend, perceive, and respond when I give you a direct command or order. But Susie, or some other person who's AFAB or feminine presenting, does it, and suddenly you don't know what's going on. I highly recommend you start giving Susie the same respect you're showing me, or I'm going to get very ugly with you. Do you understand me?
I mean, I understand. Don't worry, I got.
Good.
So, yeah. Is there anyone else we should be looking at with this?
Let me see.
Because I saw Kyo-kun in there. I know you and Kyo are close. Do you know if Kyo is friends with Sean?
In the glimpse, yeah, but I don't think. To me, I don't think he pretty much, knew too much about it. Anyways, he probably just, assumed that like he was not pretty much friends and stuff with him and everything. So
Okay, but
I got
the question the question is there a chance Kyo could know? Right, by the sounds of it, the answer is yes.
pretty much, yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Scroll back up through this the members list again.
Okay. Let me move this out of the way. All right.
It's like Shadow Rough being another one. Remember being in here?
You said Shadow?
Shadow Rough, not Sonic and Shadow Plus. Shadow Rough. Scroll down a bit more.
All right.
There he is. Shadow Rough 777DS. Oh, he's an editor. Okay. A regular member in the server. Okay. So do you think maybe, or do you know if Shadow Rough is friends with Sean at all?
I really don't know that part.
Okay.
That part I don't know.
Umbrus, you're still in here, right?
Yeah.
Is Kyo-kun on right now?
I saw him online when we were going through the members earlier, but good to double check. Yes, he is.
Can you maybe get a hold of Kyo-kun real quick?
Sure thing.
Right. I can go get him.
Just shoot him a DM.
Is he even in Courthouse?
No, but we can get him a link. There's one in the Nexus resources. It's a perma link. We can just send that to him.
And we're bringing in somebody named Kyo-kun. Did I hear that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
How many coons are you guys gonna have in this community? Good God.
I know we at least have two. Comet-kun and Kyo-kun. I don't think we have any others.
Well, I mean, technically there's Joe-kun, but that's spelled differently.
I suppose.
I'll take my humor where I can get it.
Fair enough, fair enough. You should You should have seen how many blazes we had in here before August of last year.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, if you guys can get a hold of Kyokun, that'd be great. We can ask them what's up.
Seems to be in the middle of Call of Duty. Hopefully he checks his Discord anytime soon.
Wrong way.
Yeah. Or you might also be willing to shoot him a DM. You can't.
Well, yeah, he probably might be busy or something, but yeah, I could. I'll go ahead and do that. Give me a sec.
While we're waiting, I believe David said he wanted to say something. Do you want to give him the floor, Susie?
Sure.
Well, initially, I was going to basically tell you, Ward, to one, drop the attitude, and two, drop the and two, to calm down. But this was before we found out about the CP stuff, so never mind. It's all yours.
Yeah. Anyone know how long a Call of Duty match tends to last? Offhand? Like on average?
Hang on.
I think it's usually about 10 minutes.
Unless he's doing the campaign, which is 7 hours. God forbid.
Hopefully not.
Well, if he's in the middle of the campaign, he can pause. I'm giving him the benefit of doubt and saying he's doing online, so he can't pause. In which case, fine. He's got 10 minutes. Otherwise, we'll have to... Otherwise, I don't know. I might have to come back to this at a later date. Not gonna be happy about it, but I can. I'm flexible enough. As for you, Ward, hope you realize that this probably means you're gonna get removed from the Cloud Palace. Maybe Pog.
I understand.
Hold on.
Well, I understand.
One moment. Susie,
Mm-hmm.
show your teeth a little more.
Fair enough.
Oh, I just want to say this so it's on record. I made it very clear last night that I wanted everyone who is doing similar behaviors to people like Sean and the Cloak and Dagger Quartet to show themselves. You didn't when I brought it up. I had to have Raven tell me this. So really appreciate you not being honest with me. I've made it very clear to people how I view these things. Like, if I find out that people are being buddy with predators or withholding very crucial information that could put the minors in the group and vice versa in danger, they're gone. Because why the fuck are you in the group then? Oh, fucking... This... Ward, we've known each other for nearly 7 years. You've known the shit I've gone through. I think. I hope at the very least you know, like, 2 instances.
Can you please remind me of those 2 instances, please? Because even I can't really remember. You gotta let me know, please.
I think at the very least, Karome might be one you may know about.
mean, I know Karome long time ago. Yes.
Well, I'll put it this way. Ward, you knew of V. You remember V, right?
Yeah, I remember V, of course.
Okay. So you know of at least one.
The point again
Yes.
here is like you know that we don't tolerate this behavior, and when we find out that this is happening, we get on it as soon as possible. And moreover, I'm transitioning into this question. Are there any other people that you're buddying around? Like, are you buddying with, just for example, Karome or someone else we should know about?
No, I haven't. And like I mentioned beforehand, I've really rarely probably not been interacting with CC as
I will-
much because
I will say,
but
yes, you have been very inactive in Cloud Palace. This is true. I'll give you that.
yeah, because I didn't know,
But-
like that's why I didn't know. Go ahead.
But you were active after Cloak and Dagger. Mainly because everyone, barring Azumanga Daioh, was active in the Cloud Palace server that day. I
Wait,
saw
hold
you
on.
in there. You know damn well what happened to Key and Tippy.
Also,
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about that real quick. I'm sorry. Let me talk about that
sure.
real quick before
Sure you
before
will.
anybody talks about that. Doodles, I'm gonna talk to you honestly about something, okay?
There's time for everything.
Honest,
Let's hear it then.
yeah. Okay. To tell you the truth, I don't know a lot of things about the whole Keyblade and the whole like Tippy thing. I've been holding off a lot, and I also haven't watched that one video
That's
the one video. So I still don't really have that much information about what really happened. That's what I'm trying to explain. And I'm not lying
that's
about
not my
this either.
point. That's not.
One moment. Son, are you paying attention to what I'm saying right now?
Yes.
God
Yes, I
gave you
am.
2 ears. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, so you can listen twice as much as you talk. And you've been doing a lot of yapping. So why don't you wait for Susie to tell you what she means and what she needs before you start droning on again? I swear, if you go on another Dr. Huxtable lecture or droning on about something else, I'm going to become unglued on you.
Right.
Show her proper
All right.
respect.
The point that I was trying to make
Okay.
was that you were active in the Cloud Palace the day of Cloak and Dagger. Mostly because everyone was. You were told more or less what happened. You know, at least to a degree, that Tippy, Neko Shadows, Dalsmic, and Mav Station kept under wraps something to do with the child predator. I know this
know.
because you had conversations about it directly in the Cloud Palace the day that it happened.
And
I had
also,
questions. Okay, go ahead.
2 things when Kyo is here now. And secondly, I remember we got pinged plenty of times in August. One of those pings was a message Laya wanted Susie to pass on. If I remember correctly, it was something about like, hey, if it's more or less what I said in Pod last night, but it was basically like more or less, hey, if you're like buddying with any scumbags and all that, tell Susie. It was something like that. Laya, you can correct me.
Essentially, if you know something, open your mouth.
I got you.
You know,
And-
in the bulletin board, I can read you verbatim what I had posted in there the day of July 30th, 2023. At everyone. I want to make it clear for those who are not here. While yes, I did ask Neko Shadows, Tippy, and Mav Station to leave the group, I'm not asking them to be moved from everywhere. I'm not asking them to be unadded y'all as friends or anything. not even saying there isn't any chance at all that they couldn't theoretically come back when or if they earn that trust back. However, I can't in good faith just give them that slap on the wrist without any consequence at all. So you knew at least something happened. And people gave you that rundown. I know people did because that was all that anyone was talking about the day after.
I could see what you mean, but yeah.
You knew.
But I only had the gist. I only had like a little bit of the gist of it though.
Oh my God! Stop! Stop! Let me go ahead and give you a comparison here. We'll see if this works really well with your brain. Have you ever touched a hot stove?
Pretty much.
So tell me, when you touched that hot stove, did you have to sit there and examine the stove, determine what type of stove it was, what type of burner it was, whether it was a traditional electric burner, or conductive, or inductive, or whatever, or a gas flame? Did you have to sit there and analyze the stove to determine how the heat was produced in order to determine that maybe you shouldn't keep your stupid hand there? Or did you go, ow, and remove your hand?
Pretty much don't touch it or anything. Yeah, you're right.
You said, ow, I removed my hand. You do not need detailed information about these people withheld info about a predator sympathizer. You don't need birthdays. You don't need social security numbers. You don't need none of that. All you need to understand is what you were given. So you going on tirades about how you didn't look into it, no one cares, no one asks, not the point. If somebody shoots at you, you don't sit there and analyze why they're shooting at you. You find cover unless you want your brain to go all the way across the wall. Knock this off. God, embarrassing.
So since Kyo's here now, Susie, you wanna?
Yeah. So, Kyo, are you able to unmute? If not, you might have to leave call and come back. That answers that question.
Okay, can people hear me?
Yep. Do you know why we called you in here?
Yeah, people was telling me about a situation that happened last night with Sean S, and when they was explaining this up to me, I didn't know really what was going on because like I don't talk to Sean like that much really. Not because I had an issue with him or whatever. It just we kind of like lost contact, so I didn't know what he was doing or what was going on at the time and stuff. So most of this stuff that was going on is like new information to me.
So you didn't know that Sean was friends with Dan?
No, not at all. I no.
Now, here's what I want you to do, Ward. I want you to pay attention to how he just responded. You notice he didn't have to go around the barn. You notice how he didn't have to go on some lavish discussion of a hero's journey to tell us the answer. He answered directly, which tells me it's more likely that he's being honest with us. Now, he could be lying, and we'd find out eventually. We always do. The fact that you came in and acted the way you did, immediately communicated with me, you can't be trusted. And it's been proven.
Okay, yeah. I'm like I said, I am sorry and stuff. I ain't really that good at like speaking one-on-ones like this and all that. So I do deeply do apologize for that.
No, I'm not going to accept it. The reason why I'm not going to accept it is because you sat there and you tried to put the onus on, well, I'm not good at speaking one-on-one. That wasn't the problem. The problem isn't having communication issues in a one-on-one back and forth or verbally. What you did was intentional. You thought if you could overload with information, we wouldn't find out. It doesn't work on me. I've dealt with your type. I've dealt with them for years. You're not special, you're not new, you're not smart. You're quite the inverse of those things. So the I'm sorry is unaccepted because you're still lying. Do you understand me?
I do understand.
Good. That means you don't try to put that on Susie either.
I ain't trying to. I haven't really blamed her, so don't worry.
No, you. Who said anything about blame? Said you don't put that on her. Meaning, don't try to use the same tactic on her thinking it's going to work on her. That's what that
Okay.
means.
Gotcha.
So, I guess that was the long and short of it that I needed from you, Kyo.
Wait, can I just say one thing? Like just one thing real quick. Okay. The situation that going on with Ward, like Ward knows how like I get down when it comes to like people who well going through my record history or whatever. It's strange for me to say this, but you know I grow older, I get older, I learn. But Ward knows that we don't have we have zero tolerance with people who basically because when I created my Twilight Assassins Guild server, which was like a commentary slash like it was just a group that I had made. We do not play when it comes to like dangerous and situations and stuff like that. Like we cut people off like real quick.
I hate to break it to you, but Ward sat on information of what Dan was doing and how Dan and Sean were friends for roughly 2 years.
Like if like me and Ward is like extremely close. Like if I knew all the stuff that was going on, I would have eventually stepped in and say like Ward, no, we don't do that. We don't we don't handle things like that.
The point is, right? Ward was told in 2021 that Dan Stein was sending soft child pornography to other people, or like bordering on soft child pornography, whichever or doesn't matter. And so Ward was told this in 2021 by Sean, and then knew that Sean stayed friends with Dan up until 2023.
Yeah, pretty much. But
See, like
I
if
said,
I would have known any of this, cause like, see, damn man, I could.
There's just kind of no getting around it. Ward sat on information of somebody being friends with a predator for 2 years.
Jeez Louise, man.
So as far as that zero tolerance policy, doesn't really do you much good when the person you're sitting here trying to defend in front of us literally did that exact, like, literally had tolerance to it.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I understand. I got you. I got you.
Yeah. But yeah,
I just wish I would have known so I can I would have kept him out of trouble because I think when me and Ward kind of went through some things around 2019, I haven't been keeping a close eye on some of the things that he was doing and stuff with certain other people because I didn't want to get in his business. I didn't want to, you know what I'm saying? So we was no longer together and stuff. So it's if I had a closer, I would have prevented all this, man. It's just sad, man.
Hey Ward, do you mind
Yes.
clicking on that DM that you just got
From Sean.
from Sean?
All right.
Mind clicking that? Let's see what he just sent you.
All right. I'm pretty sure it does have something to do with.
Probably does. It's a real thing that I've been away for 18 hours because of what happened and I don't feel tired. Okay, well, here I was thinking that it was going to be something of importance.
I thought so too.
But yeah.
But yeah, I can understand. I can pretty much understand what you guys are pretty much saying though, and I just couldn't really find the words to really explain, really. So I couldn't really, and I could see what y'all was talking about with basically upholding a lot of information and stuff. That's why when I was trying to at least talk to
Ooh.
Sean about it to
Actually, yeah. Can you search back up Dan in your DMs?
okay,
Fenrir's bringing up a good point.
all right. All right.
So scroll down.
All right, here
Let's
it is.
scroll back down. Let's scroll back to that
Let's go back to what?
screenshot. That's that screenshot. Yeah. Click the channel. The jump to the channel link there.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah, right
scroll
here.
up. Yep.
Oh, so I think I pretty much still got it anyways.
Oh yeah,
At least
yeah.
that's what I
Okay. So can you copy that and throw that into Trial No Mic for us?
You said Charles no mic?
Yep.
Gotcha.
So scroll up a little bit. Trial
Right
No
here.
Mic. Yep. Just throw that in there. Kyokun can choose to read it.
Okay, I
Alright.
got
Hold on, let me swap things.
let me see.
Hold on.
So yeah, not sure exactly how to close these things out, but think that's everything. Unless Lio, do you think there's maybe more that we should be looking at? Anyone else? Anything they
If
wanna
there
say?
is, we'll figure it out. But one thing we do need to do, Susie, you need to get a list of every single miner that's in this community that you're in contact with. It's gotten to the point that now we've had 3 or 4 miners. I'm not going to use the word hidden. That's not accurate. But who are aware of these things and they don't inform adults. We need to address that. We need to make sure these kids know that it's safe to do so.
I was about to say, I don't think that's gonna be necessarily hard because I think we have single digits as far as like we have a single digit amount of members as far as minors go.
Which is good,
Correct?
but I want to make sure they're safe.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying you're doing anything wrong, but sometimes they don't know what predation is because they've been lied to by their predator. And if there's somebody in this community that is doing this stuff, they're literally going to be the ones to know, and we need to make sure they know they're safe to tell us.
Mm-hmm.
As for you, Ward, Susie will make the decision she chooses to. As I said earlier, she needs to show her teeth. I don't want to see you. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear about you. Take your goofy little commentaries, your stupid little brony nonsense, and disappear.
Okay.
All
With that, you and Kyokun, you're both dismissed.
Okay.
Christ.
Aye, fucking aye.
Unfortunately, Kyokun didn't seem to internalize a damn thing, but unfortunately, we couldn't get him into a call. He kind of chickened out and ghosted us as much as he possibly could. So that's more or less the end of the situation as far as I'm concerned. However, I know Sean has been kind of making a big fuss on Twitter about all of this, so that's why I'm releasing this Now, I'm not gonna cover any of Sean's Twitter threads. I don't really care to. I know a bunch of other people who are, though, so maybe I will link their videos when they come out, if you check back. Otherwise, yeah, that's about the end of that. I do, however, got one more call to play because it's also semi-related, and I think it could be a good lesson for those who wish to join the community, or just generally good advice, for anyone. So for context, Lio, after this situation occurred, wanted to speak to the minors in the SCC to tell them what they should do in the event of a predator is found within the community. And for the final thoughts of this video, I'm just gonna kind of let that call play out, so that way I don't have to do a lot of extra work, because as I said, I kind of want to focus on fun videos right now. I can't really handle more stress-inducing things right now. It is, actually bad for my health. So I will see you guys, hopefully, with a more fun video, unless some other bullshit happens. But, in any case, have a good day, and take care. So... Buggy says that they're gonna have to go in 20, and Cherry Blossom is not here. Do you want to just get started without them?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I'll switch to my headset.
Okay.
You recording this, Doodle?
I am.
Good. All right, Kieran. I've had you guys gathered here today for a very specific incident. And despite how I just started that, no, I am not wedding any of you people together with each other because kids are gross. More importantly, we have noticed a bit of a consistent pattern here. And I want to be very clear here. It is not the fault of any of the kids involved. But we've had no shortage, at least 3 incidents now, where kids have known about a predator or a creep in the community, and they've been convinced by said creeps to be quiet about it. I'm having this conversation with you kids so you guys can understand you don't have to listen to these people, and you shouldn't. If somebody is doing something like that, or you know of anybody who's around these people knowing what they've done, you need to tell us. You need to tell Susie, or you need to tell me. I know some of you are more comfortable with one than the other, but if there's a predator running around, or a creep in general, or a sexual harasser, you got to let people know. Because you're young, you need to be protected in this community as best as possible, and we're not going to be able to do that unless we know what's going on. So if we have a situation like that, you need to let us know. You also need to communicate when any adults are saying or doing sexual things around you, because that can lead to other things, or it primes you to get you interested in those things. It's a predatory tactic. It's a grooming tactic. If something feels wrong, or please tell us. We're not going to get mad at you. We're not going to yell at you. We're not going to fuss at you. We want to make sure you guys are okay. Because now we had at least one incident as well where somebody in this community was being preyed upon, and nobody said anything about it. Not the people who should have, that were adults. And unfortunately, that means the individual wound up having some terrible things happen to them. And I want to try to avoid that when it comes to you kids, because I care about you. Everybody understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We have any questions here?
Not really.
No.
Okay, another thing you need to be careful of, and this is something that has been a problem, and this is going to be addressed primarily to the adults, because I require the adults to be the ones to put stops to these things. Do not involve these children. I do not care, because here's the line here. I don't care if they're a day from turning 18. Do not involve children in conversations, videos, or discussions around assault of a certain nature, around sexual topics in general, and around criminal activity. Don't. These are children. And while they might get a little offended, feeling like I'm talking down to them, even though it's not my intent, let them enjoy their doggone childhood without having to deal with the muck and mire of that garbage. That's something that they choose to engage with that when they are adults and fully fledged, they are welcome to. But we cannot allow them to be involved in these things under our watch. It is unethical and it is wrong.
Let the kids enjoy their childhood. Let them enjoy talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! And art and Pokemon. Don't, even if they come to you and say, hey, can we collab on this topic? You can't stop the kid from doing the topic, but you shouldn't enable them by joining in on them doing it, because that leaves you accountable for it. Don't do that. I got onto FROM for this last year. He learned from it, thankfully, but you can't do that. You treat kids like they're kids. You don't treat kids like they're small adults. Do the adults in the room understand me?
Understood, sir.
Because another thing you all have to understand is while
Yeah.
you're all primarily in your own smaller communities, things can spill outside of its target audience. The last thing anybody here wants, I would hope, is for these kids to deal with genuine online harassment. Because as adults, our brains are more formed about that stuff. Kids, that leaves a traumatic mark on them. It even does for adults. So God forbid these kids have to keep dealing with that nonsense. I can't imagine being 13 to freaking 16 having to deal with adults losing their mind at me on the internet because I had a bad take on something. That's god awful, and that needs to be curbed in this community as a whole. So going forward, if a kid screws up, and I mean screws up, I don't mean has a bad opinion on Pokemon. If you guys want to have discussions about media takes or whatever, that's fine. But if a kid screws up, don't go around doing videos on the kid. Leave the kid alone. If you want to have a discussion with them to try to educate them, that's one matter altogether. To try to pull them away from that, sure. But doing an entire video where you're dunking on the kid, don't do that. There's a reason why boxing matches and martial arts have weight classes to it. Don't swing below your weight class on these kids. All right? That was directed to the adults. I'd like a response, please.
Oh,
It was like it went into silence.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, that's heard. I understand you loud and clear.
All right.
I would not
Mhm.
want the kids
Well,
in this
be
community
it
go
I
through similar things
arrived a little
I
late.
did when I was a kid.
Okay. Do the kids have any questions for anybody? And it's fine. You can ask whatever you need to right now. You're not going to get yelled at, I promise. Susie will smack me and she can server mute me if I do.
That's real.
I
No, I'm
think I
good.
have a I think I have a question, and it relates to one of the incidents.
Go for
Because
it.
in one way, it was addressed publicly in the little wiki, the little slideshow wiki or whatever. Are we ever gonna address anything publicly, like any evidence or like show any of the calls? Because
Which calls are we talking about here?
there's the Sonicward, because I don't think the public has like any evidence, despite like the wiki saying, oh, they had contact with like Dan Stein or whatever.
That's a valid point. I'll get together with Susie about that and see how she wants to handle that, since she is the one who is in control of those calls. I have no problem putting them on my channel. I'm hoping that Susie doesn't feel the need to put that on her channel, because God knows she has to deal with garbage enough, and that's in my wheelhouse. That's what people expect from me. So I think that it is important to have evidence for those claims out there before putting them on the wiki. Although I also understand Doodletones is like, sometimes she scares me with her categorization stuff. So that's something that is a valid point to have out there. So we'll get together and figure out what to do about it going forward. Any other questions?
I do have one question.
Yes.
If we're given information about a situation and like screenshots and evidence of somebody doing bad things, do we pass it off to the adults and let them handle it?
Yes. And if it's somebody you know, like one-on-one, you need to communicate this very clear thing to them. Please take it to law enforcement. If we're talking about a very specific bad thing, I don't think we're talking about somebody praising art, right? So we all know what we're talking about here. They need to inform their parents, and I know that's scary for kids. All right. So let me go ahead and put my cards on the table here. When I say this, I'm not being disrespectful of your age. I do not despise your youth. I'm saying this as a matter of fact. It is not meant to demean anybody. But you're kids, and as such, you don't have three-dimensional thinking. You don't think in long term how something can affect you going forward. Because kids, number one, especially at the age you guys are going through puberty, emotions are right there, and it's in the now. That's where your focus is because you're young. When you get older, you start extrapolating and thinking long term, cause and effect. So a lot of times kids don't want to tell their parents when something like this happens because, well, what's the initial response? Well, obviously my parents are going to want to take away my internet. That's where my friends are. I know that sucks. Okay? I get it. I do. Especially in this modern age, that's primarily where a lot of your socialization comes from that isn't school related. However, your parents doing that ultimately is an attempt to protect you. And you have to give them space to do it. I know that unfortunately there are some parents, I don't know for factual here, but it's been my experience sometimes parents are abusive or they're transphobic or they're homophobic. And kids worry about, well, what if my parents find out I'm XYZ? I know that's scary to be in, but this is where we're talking about the long term. If this person isn't reported to the authorities, even if the authorities don't do anything with it, which unfortunately is the case a lot of times, but even if they don't, having it on record can help somebody else down the line if that person goes after somebody else. And you have to think about that as well. So yes, if it is somebody you know, also encourage them to report it to the police and their parents because they're going to need to do that. Law enforcement has to know when somebody's doing this. They have to. And yes, absolutely pass it to an adult in the group because I can promise you, here's what these adults are going to do. They're going to immediately turn around. They're going to give it to me. And I'll do what I need to. But the key is to make sure your kids are safe. So I need to divorce you from those individuals who are messing with you kids, get them away, and you kids can be safe. And if there's a predator, I'll handle it like I always do. So thank you for that question. There you go.
Because I believe Umbress passed you some information about a specific thing. I think she did that.
I actually haven't gotten the chance to talk to you about that yet, Lio.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'll
But yeah, I passed it off to Umbress, and she said she'll talk to you about that.
yeah,
I'll get her with numbers about it and get it handled, whatever it is. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
I just
Okay.
haven't had
Anybody?
time, but, I do have a
Okay.
question for you.
Go
sir.
ahead. Go ahead.
So yeah, in the event that someone is informed of a dangerous person, but because of them living in an entirely different country like I do, like say there's a disgusting person in the States and it's passed on to me, do I pass it on to you? So
You pass it on to me. You file a report in your country. You have to. I'll file a report on this side of the ocean. I can't promise the cops will do anything. All I can promise is that a report will be filed.
Grand.
Either way, it has that person's there. Now, there may be times I'm not able to. Not because I don't want to, but because sometimes people are actually pretty decent at hiding their tracks and hiding who they actually are. So all I can pass to the cops are Discord tags and whatnot. I'll still do that. But what I mean, but I'm not always able to, is a sense that like I may not be able to find the person's real information, which is what I prefer to do when it comes to reporting them.
Yeah.
This is something that you need to leave to me. Don't go digging around here yourself. If you're dealing with a predator, divorce yourself from them. Don't feel like you need to be in contact with them. Absolutely don't be in contact with them. And if you're dealing with somebody who's been accused of it, and there's some form of credibility to it, absolutely remove yourself from it. Do not let them guilt trip you. Do not let them tell you about how sad they are or how badly they want to hurt themselves or whatever manipulation tactic they use. Don't fall for it. That's what these people do. You, especially as children, are not responsible for the happiness, safety, or ongoing life of an adult. You're not. Don't let them convince you that they are, because I have noticed the community as a whole, not specifically talking about the SEC, but there have been plenty of examples of it here. The community does not treat children right. They treat children like they're jokes, like they're something to be played with, or like they're somehow just short adults, and that is not right. It is condemnable. So bring it forward, let the adults deal with it. Make sure you do not occupy space with these creeps. Okay?
Okay.
Any other questions?
I feel like I should ask, like, what if, like we're living in like a situation where like we like just would not tell
Your
our
parents are
parents,
abusive,
not
transphobic, or homophobic? Is that what you're about to say?
like in a situation where they would like blame like the kid in that situation.
That is a very tough thing to deal with, and unfortunately, I have had to deal with it. I had one incident where not only did the mother of the victim blame the child, but actively contacted the predator to talk trash about her child. it is unpleasant, but at the same time, a report has to be filed. I could still do that. I can still file one on my end, but I'm telling you right now, the police prefer it if the victim themselves also files. So it's an unpleasant situation to be in, but if you think you can safely do it, then you still need to file. I'm not going to put you in a position to where like you're going to get abused if you do. I'm just saying that we got to strategize and find out ways for you to be able to tell your parents without the negative side effects. These are things we can talk about and try to figure out a plan. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I know that's scary, and I am sorry to hear about that. I've had to deal with a lot of that before. It is not fun. It is absolutely not fun. And I can't understand parents who treat their children like that. Anybody else?
No.
Nope.
All right. Any of the adults have any questions?
Not really on my end,
It's
no.
it's not entirely related, but since we are on the method of passing information along, do you remember when I contacted you about somebody hanging around the Scratch animation community?
No, I can't say I do. Unfortunately, you get a billion different messages just about every day. I don't even know what the Scratch community is.
It was a predator I ran into there. They while I was still 14, they basically siphoned me off into a little group with me and other kids after they got outed, and they stalked us to make us keep quiet on alt accounts and shit.
Okay, let's get together about that tomorrow. We'll set out aside time and we'll go through this and see what I can do for you, okay?
Okay.
All right. Anybody else?
I have a question. Is there anything important that I missed because I was offline for a bit?
Well, thankfully, Susie has it recorded, so if we need to, like, number one, my DMs on this account are open. Any of you can message me if you need to. And Susie, I'm sure, be happy to pass you the recording in case you feel like you may have missed something. And if you have any other questions at that point, you can just be at any time.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so now's when I have to ask the kids a very tough question. And I hate I have to ask this, but I'm asking for a reason. 3 months ago, we had to deal with Key and Tippy, and while you children probably shouldn't have listened to those videos, I'm also not stupid, and I know you all have. Because most of you are artists, and most of you are bored, and you have YouTube. So, you saw what happened with Key and Tippy. And all these other people knowing that somebody in the Cloud Palace was in contact with a predator, they did not tell anybody. During that, these individuals manipulated children who also knew to be quiet. We just ran into an event where another child was forced to be quiet over somebody associating with a predator. So I'm going to ask you all, this is a non-judgment zone, you're not going to get yelled at, not going to be angry. Do you guys know of anyone else in this space who has done predatory things or know of anybody who associates with anybody who does predatory things? If so, you can tell us and we will get it handled.
It
my
was
knowledge, no.
back in last fall. I was in contact with a group and I was told to keep quiet about this one guy. I'm not in contact with any of them anymore, but I can get the DMs for you if you'd like.
Thank you. Are any of these people in this circle, in this space, like
no,
in general?
no, they're not.
Okay, that's good.
It's
So
a
at least you're
different
divorced.
YouTube group.
I see. Never ends. Yeah, pass it to me whenever you can. Okay, get up.
Okay, I can send Umbrus the screenshots and she can forward it to you.
All right, that's fine. Anybody else? Anybody have any? Go
I
ahead.
was about to say, Zoranthropy just put in the chat, I have a question. Probably a tad stupid, but if you have a personal/IRL situation and cannot tackle something, i.e. a predator or someone in contact with a predator, what do you advise we do if something is time sensitive and needs to be tackled immediately? Letting everyone have a go has turned out rather poorly, as the Blaze Call shows, so I wanted to ask if you had any advice.
If it's IRL, report it to the police immediately. Even if it's online, report it to the police immediately. Or do you mean in the sense that, like, you know about it, but you're having a hard time giving it to other people because you're busy IRL?
I think that's what she means.
Okay. No one, including me, is too busy to send a single message. Talk to somebody. Message someone. Let them know. Again, my DMs on this account specifically are always open. I check them daily. If you know something, let me know. We'll get it dealt with between Susie and Aaron's encyclopedic knowledge of all the parties involved in this community. I can figure out who it is pretty quick. Anybody have any other questions?
I had a question earlier, but I forgot it. I was gonna ask, like, what about is sorry, is it fine to like talk about this kind of stuff like publicly, like in terms of like somebody being like preyed on and shit like that? Like, is it fine to like talk about that stuff publicly if the person who like dealt with that is okay with it? I just figured I should ask.
As long as you do it ethically and with solid evidence, I would encourage it being discussed publicly. But be careful, because unfortunately we are in a culture that likes the victim blame. So if you're going to, make sure all your ducks are in a row. Don't come out there and make an accusation without evidence to back it up. We just dealt with a situation like that literally a few hours ago. And the reason why you want to avoid that's twofold. Number one, you don't want to put your credibility in question. And number two, when you screw up like that, it makes it a lot harder for the victim to get what they need out of it, because then their account's in doubt. You can't do that to victims.
Understood.
All right. Anything else?
Nope.
Do we have any questions from anybody, children included, that are unrelated to this specific topic that they still feel like they need to ask in general?
I think I might want to like ask a question, but mainly towards like wanting to give like an overall general advice towards any of the adults who were in my position at one point.
Okay.
So when I was an adult, I had like someone who was 16 wanting to actually ask me out, and I've immediately have went ahead and told the 16-year-old, no, I am already dating someone. But if there is like an overall indication that a minor is trying to hit on an adult, and you are the adult in this situation, of course, the obvious answer would be saying, no, you're too young for this. But what is there like any other things, in which case that you could do towards trying to...
Yes. The ethical response to that is to not only decline, but also to, as best as possible, remove yourself from being around them as much as possible. Or if you are around them, make sure there's multiple people there as well. You have to treat it. Here's the problem a lot of people have with online stuff. All right? Be completely honest with you. The big problem with online stuff is people like to treat it like it's different magically than, our beat space area. So let's look at this logically. If you're around a little kid, a child, a teenager, and they show romantic or sexual interest in you, you obviously decline it. And then what do? You make sure you never occupy a space with them where it's just you two. Ever. Period. Number one, you try to avoid them as a whole, to be completely honest with you. Number two is to make sure that there's other people around, just in general. That gives you two things. Number one, it shows your moral values and what you will allow and not allow. And two, that means that there's other people who can attest to the fact that you are not going to do something like that. So that keeps the kids safe and it keeps you safe. That's how you need to operate.
Okay, and just a side question: what happens if it's IRL? Because you've went ahead and said online spaces, but
the exact same I said there. Like if it's IRL, make sure there's plenty of other people around. If there's a teenager, you are a full-fledged adult. Now there's some crossover here. You're 18 and a 16-year-old interested in you. That's a bit of a different beast, just by the fact that that is not a massive age gap. If you're like 24 and a 16-year-old interested in you, buddy, run. Or the only time you're around them is if their parents around as well. That's it. Like you You cut that. You cut that immediately.
Uh,
There have been cases where a child had made it clear they were interested in an adult, and the adult did not make that disclosure. The child wound up going missing. Now, the adult that got in trouble for it initially wasn't the one that actually did it, but the reason why the police suspected him is obviously because of what the kid had previously said about them and evidence in their diary and whatnot, and because this adult still allowed the kid around, hair follicles and whatnot, other DNA stuff was around. So it put him in the headlight there. You want to avoid that. Because if somebody's done something wrong to a kid, you obviously want the actual party affected. So it's just wise to not be in that position to begin with.
Okay.
This is another. This is separate from the one Waper was talking about, but there's also something that happened to me in my early teenage years that I want to ask you about because I cannot tell if it's as bad as I think it is.
All right, go ahead.
I'll have to explain it to you like later, but the basic it's someone that was already removed from the community, but it was someone who had a tendency to talk about NSFW topics in VCs with minors all the time. For example, when we first became friends in 2018, it happened and it just kept going even though we kept telling him to stop. And this is like a guy in his 30s now. And he had sadly the proof of this is gone, but on my old Discord account he sent me art of a character I had like a lighthearted crush on but had no care on like what the images were.
Is it Paradox?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what you do. Number one, recognize that none of that's your fault. Right? Because here is something that kids do struggle with. Is what I'm going through wrong, unusual, strange? So, if any adult wants to have not safe for work topics with you, that's a red flag. If any adult sends you lewd, suggestive, or sexual imagery, that's a red flag. If the adult does not mind their P's and Q's with you around and other adults are around, red flag. We had the call earlier, right as it started. I said, let me make sure I do my due diligence. Are there any children around? Well, there was an affirmative yes. I asked them to leave the call because of the topic we were going to discuss. If they do not do that, that's a red flag. If they want to have role play sessions with you, that's a red flag, just in general. And I know some people might argue that, but I'll tell you this much. Even if I were to play D&D, I'm not putting kids at my D&D table.
Yeah,
Much
like
less online. So, yes.
I found like I was friends with this person between 2018 to 2021 when I was between the ages of 12 to 15, and the final straw was him talking about fetish stuff and going way too in depth about it.
Yep, definite red flag.
But I have no idea what that actually constitutes as. I don't know if it's like.
Okay, then let me go ahead and ask some questions. Number one, did they know before sending all this stuff what your current age was there?
Absolutely.
Okay, then I think you know what it is. What you're looking for from me is confirmation, right?
Yeah, because I've just been confused about this for the longest time. I just haven't been able to figure it out.
I was under the impression that this individual did not factually know your age at the time, so I appreciate that information. So, for those of you in the audience that are listening, if an adult is sending you illicit material, sending you suggestive material, sending you sexual material, sexual conversations, especially in just DMs, adults are going to slip up in topic all the time, out in public. Everybody does, including myself sometimes. That's accidental, but when they do it in DM, knowing your age, that is grooming. Because what they are trying to do is they are trying to get you prepared for sexual conversations. They are trying to get your attention in a sexual manner. That is grooming. Now, in the UK, that is against the law. they actually have a law about grooming. That is good. In the United States, however, we do not. Instead of filing it as grooming, we just consider it illegal to send a child pornographic material. Either way, both incidents, regardless how either side of the pond deals with them, it is still grooming. An adult is sharing sexual stuff with you with the intention to get you involved with them in that manner, to engage with them in that manner. That is grooming. They know what they're doing. Do not let them sit there and pretend like they don't. There is no way a man in his 30s communicating with a 12 or 15-year-old accidentally sends pornography consistently. That does not happen. That is grooming. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much. That's been a night because like I called him out for being weird, but I never put labels on him when I was 15, shortly after the final incident. But as of recent, I've been mulling it over and realized that it's way worse than I thought it was like 3 years ago.
Okay. So, is this person still involved in?
You're breaking up. Repeat that.
Yeah, cutting out.
Okay, is this individual involved in anybody's communities around us right now?
Last time I heard, no.
Are they still in Rio's server? Or did
No.
Rio get rid of him? Okay, good.
Who?
Rio Decade, somebody who knows. Like they were in that server, but Rio got rid of him.
Understood. All right. Any other questions?
Okay. This is
yeah.
this is
Oh,
a
sorry.
statement. It's fine.
One at a time. Come on, people.
This is more of a statement, if anything. Don't fucking vent to me or like any other people, any other minors or whatever, about your like problems, your depression, your family problems when you're like over 18. Because fucking yesterday, that Jones guy like went to my DMs and talked about how like their girlfriend's dad. They were like, what the fuck was it? I know they're 26 or something.
Oh, Shomes?
And they were
so
talking. Yes.
Hold on. Time out. The person I'm speaking to, are you a minor?
Yes, I'm 16.
Okay, I can't see the name. I'm driving, so that's why I wanted to verify. Okay.
Okay.
So you're bringing to me an issue of an adult coming into your DMs and venting their emotions out to you, right?
Yes, and they've
Sharing
done
with you
this
personal
before.
things they should not. Okay. That is not right. So here's the thing. What that's not grooming, but what that is blatant stupidity. I am 38 years old. You will not catch me dead in a kid's DMs telling them when I'm having a bad day. You won't even catch me dead in most people's DM, adult or otherwise. That's what I have a wife to talk to for. This individual that is venting in your DMs needs to be confronted by other adults and put in their place for it, because that is not your job. Your job is to get good grades and make your parents happy with your good grades, play Yu-Gi-Oh! Or whatever it is. Your job is to enjoy your childhood. That adult's job is not to ruin it by trauma dumping on a literal child whose brain isn't done settling. So
No,
thank you for
Lio-
bringing that up. That is a problem.
No, because Lio, he did it to me and Habit too, when we were kids.
No, he's in
He
space.
just did it
He's
to me
still
like
in
a
space
few
with
days
you.
ago.
Who is this
He's
person?
still in space with you. Chalmers. I don't know. I have his Discord tag. I can send it to you.
I can
Okay.
send them.
Then when we get the chance, we're going to drag them in the call. We're going to have a very solid talk with them. And if it happens again, we're going to escalate it. That is unacceptable. Children are not the emotional punching bag for dysfunctional adults.
And, where the fuck is Lyle Conway? Where the fuck are you?
I'm literally right here in the call. You can just find
No,
me.
on your DMs, and you just get your account so I can send this to you. Their little Discord tag.
This is a short one. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say my question.
You mentioned before about if it's an IRL situation, if someone is dating a minor, what would happen if it was a family member that was dating a minor?
Then they need to go to jail, and you need to inform the authorities immediately.
Okay, because I remember this was 10 years ago and they're not dating anymore. But I remember my brother, I think he was like 21 or 22, and he was dating a high schooler. Like he wasn't even like, and she wasn't even like graduated. I think she was like a sophomore or junior.
Okay, that's definitely a
And
problem, and you need to check, number one, into your state's statute of limitations. All right, here's where the law gets tricky. So when we talk about dating online, 9 times out of 10, there's going to be sexual communication, because that's how people are. When they're online, they lose their inhibitions for the most part. However,
yes,
because of how United States law works, is you're in the U.S., right?
mm-hmm.
Okay. In the
Yes,
United States,
more.
there is no law that says you cannot date a minor. The law says you cannot be sexual with the minor. So that might get into a little bit of questionable method when it comes to the law. However, the law is only half of this. The rest is your morals. So whether it's legal to quote unquote date a minor or not is irrelevant. What they're doing is still immoral, and as such, needs to be informed of the right people. So did your parents
Okay.
know that this individual was dating a child?
Yes, in fact, to be honest, it's not like that he kept it a secret. He was actually boasting about it to literally everyone in the family. He even brought her to family events.
All
Granted,
right, then
they're
here's
not
what you
dating
need to do.
anymore, but still.
Here's what you need to do then. You need to study. You need to get a good education. And when you turn 18, you get a job and you run as fast as you can from that family. Because that is some seriously depraved dysfunction, and it's not a good thing to be around.
Here's the thing, though. I'm way past 18. I am actually 27, turning 28 this year, so I am an adult.
Okay, do you still live with your parents?
Yes, but I'm currently in the process of looking for houses at the moment.
That's good. Make your distance as soon as possible, because that is a severe lap of moral judgment, regardless of what the law says in that case.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been wanting to move out of my house for a long time now anyway.
I'd imagine if you're 27, goodness. All right, do we have any other
Oh yeah,
questions?
definitely.
My time is now very short.
I have a question.
I want-
It'll be quick though.
Go ahead.
If a minor confides to you as an adult, that they've been abused or anything like that, and you go to the proper authorities, you go to the proper channels, and a report is filed, what is there left for you to do?
What are left for you to do depends on the amount of reach this individual has. If they're a person that is well known in the community, you need to let your community know. If it is a person that has a massive following online, you need to absolutely let somebody know who can do what's right and let the community know. Because here's the unfortunate thing when it comes to law enforcement. 9 times out of 10, they don't do anything about it. Now, this could be for multiple different reasons, but that's been my experience, having worked on about 50 different predator cases. And so far, the law only did something about one of them, and that's genuinely because I was able to sucker the guy. Not because they cared about the evidence, but because I was able to sucker him into telling his therapist, who told the police, who seized his computer and found things on it, and now he's in jail. That's the best I've ever seen happen, despite the other cases. Like we had one that the police were given by a different police department a 16-page dossier with the evidence of this individual. And how did the other police department respond? Well, he may not even have that phone anymore, so we can't prove it's him. So you have to be prepared for that. So the next best thing is you have to hold them accountable on the community level, because no one wants to be around these people if they have sanity. So that's the next thing you can do. And unfortunately, the pattern I've noticed with these types of individuals is there's never just one victim. That's why whenever I expose one of these people, I use their real names as well. I use their online handles, but I also use their real name, because it's a lot harder to hide when your real name's out there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
This one's more of a yes or no. Is there anything planned for dealing with Jokun in any way?
I hope so. We just have to get all of our ducks in a row and have a conversation with the individual.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I just want to say thank you. Real quick.
No need to thank me. I'm just doing what a rational adult should be doing. And that's why I appreciate Susie, like having the space in order to do this and having the willingness to have these conversations. I want you kids to be safe. I may not always agree with all of you. I think some of you are goofy and some of you got some things to sort out, but you're also young and you need to be given the space to do that, not a space where you're preyed upon because adults can't act right. Okay?
Okay.
Now, my DMs are open to all of you if you need it. If you have any other questions or any concerns, I will respond. I may not respond immediately, but I will respond. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now
Thank
you
you.
kids go enjoy your Friday night playing video games or TikToks or I don't know what you kids do. I am old, so I am about to go into a Bass Pro Shop with my wife.
Good
That's
evening.
really fun.
Have fun.
All right. You kids have a good night. Thanks for the space, Susie.
Good night.
All right.
Cheers, boss man.